Religious extremists don't believe in plurality or inclusion, but only in their own superiority and privilege. So in the 1950s, they changed our national motto from the unifying phrase E pluribus unum to an exclusionary proclamation of religious belief, and then forced atheist children to chant that mantra ever since. They don't want a democratic republic of we the people. They want an authoritarian regime of forced conformity, restricting even our most intimate liberties, what we think and even who we are. To achieve that goal, they promote American exceptionalism, which is the lie that the U.S. is blessed and will remain so only as long as we appease the Christian version of God, even when that means attacking unbelievers and queer folk, which our increasingly awful state is already doing. In order to sell the first lie, they need to couch it in another lie, that the U.S. was founded as a Christian nation, which is demonstrably factually false even according to the founders themselves, and the lie that our laws were based on Moses, who experts now say never existed. The First Amendment contradicts the First Commandment because the founders wanted to be the polar opposite of the Sharia-like law of Moses. But if the 10 Commandments were prominently displayed in every classroom, then the kids would believe that lie. That's why religious conservatives want this. They are relentlessly trying to rewrite history to undermine our pioneer example of a secular nation, the only form of governance that can provide religious freedom. Our model has become the envy of the Western world and is now emulated by older countries that were once the oppressive theocracies that our forefathers escaped and that Christian nationalists now want to drag us back to. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said this bill would promote religious freedom, which of course it won't. It will have the opposite effect, which is the intended effect, to promote Christianity to a privileged position. This bill is an unconstitutional establishment of religion by design. That is the whole point of it, and the only possible purpose behind it, so it must not pass.
All right, members, excuse me, any questions for this witness? All right, we appreciate you being here. Chair calls Charles Cruz.
Good morning, my beauties and bees. It is I, your hostess, Miss Bumblebee, and so happy to see you guys this week, because last week, as y'all remember, I was not able to do my stream regularly, so what I ended up doing was taking a bicycle trip down to the park and taking you guys on a little trip of me trying to get back in shape. Let me say hi to everybody before I even get started, because we got a good batch of people that showed up this morning. Ian Davenport was here bright and early, and Sumami came in with the boop, and then Sandy came in to check on the PC, of course. Love you, Sandy. Sandy was always there to provide technical support for me when it comes to PC stuff, because I don't know what I'm doing. D Parks, good morning. Good morning, Greg Hartwick. You got popping off in my swarm chat and Twitter to this morning about Aardwolves, and I was kind of sad that I didn't catch that earlier, because I would have certainly plugged something in for it. So that's unfortunate, but you know what? It's okay, because there's always next week. So I think next week we should do some Aardwolves, maybe. What do you think? I think I will. I think I will for you guys, because I love you so much. All right, we got Al Truckers here, Greg Hartwick. Oh, I already said Greg Hartwick, but you get two mentions, Greg. So that's how special you are. Ginger Nation, it's good to see you. Ginger Nation, Q doesn't get out here very often. I think it's because Q stays up all night in chats and stuff, and then sleeps all day, don't you, babe? Spooky's here. Hey, Spooky. I think I said Al, but Trusty Ape, good morning. Native Atheist, good morning. Stephanie Helms is here. Hey. John Hudson showing up, and the Captive Dusk. Dave, who I think I got something scheduled coming up here pretty soon. If you got a link up for your Loch Ness thing, though, drop it in the chat so that everybody can see it. It's the premiere of Dave's redoing the re-premiering the Don Prothero thing. So if you want to go hang out with me and Dave and Don Prothero and Tom from Wild World and Nikki from Sasquatch Secrets, that's a thing that's going to happen. It already did happen, and Dave's going to premiere it. So check that out. What else? What else do we got here? Who else do we got here? Oh my God, who's your buddy? You are so sweet. Look at all those gifts that are popping off here. Everybody. Oh, Ginger Nation joined the Hive. Katina is here. Victoria, Robin. Yay, Robin. Sydney Raptor. Hey, babe. Blaster Master. It's Speedy. I don't know if I've ever seen a Speedy active in the chat. They must have chatted at some point, though. Glad to have you on board. The Freak. What the heck is JFK head? I don't know about that. Eek. I was wondering, I saw something about JFK in the comments, but I thought it was in regards to the R and Ra video. I was like, what the heck's that? But yeah, apparently I have a follower named, or a fan named JFK Head Chunk. Who knew? But, you know, yeah, takes all kinds. Patty Troy, I do disavow such such notions as is that for a name. It's pretty cringy, but teach their own. Yes, you are a legend. Who's your buddy? Always a legend. Yeah, I thought it was. Let's see, who else do we got? I think I've got everybody so far. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. It wasn't intentional. I got distracted talking about so many things. So, as I mentioned, my computer crashed out last week, and I had to take it in for repairs, right? And I'm sure I got hosed. I don't know. It's the only repair shop that I know of in town, though. So I've used it before when I had on the Hive 1.0 computer. No, that's Hive 2.0. On Hive 2.0, I got the blue screen of death. So there was that, and I had to get it fixed, but I lost a whole bunch of stuff. You think I would have learned my lesson, but I didn't, because I lost a whole bunch of stuff this time too. But I don't think I lost anything that I wouldn't have lost even if I had been backing things up. The only thing I lost is my art projects, which is heartbreaking because I had a lot of art that I was making. But of all the things that I could have lost, I can make new art. I can make better art. But there was a lot of assets for things that other people were depending on, like the transpositions stuff that everybody's on. All the crews depended on that I was worried I lost, and I didn't lose it, which is good. Which is great, which is fan-freaking-tabulous. So, yeah, there's that. But it did cost a bit to get it fixed. It cost, I was, posted about this, $240, which I had to dip into some money that I really couldn't afford to dip into. But I got it fixed so that, and I needed it not just for, this is a job too, right? You all pay me for this. This is a job for me, right? And then I also, work from home, for a real job too. So, but I have my own computer and everything for that. But anyway, being able to access this was important. So I got it fixed, but I didn't end up having enough to cover it and pay for all the things in between. I was really strapping the belt, so people really turned out for me. I was kind of I was thrilled to see how much people turned out for me. Good morning, Vandalia, because we did hit our goal, or well. My goal was 250. I got to it hit 220 in the Buy Me Coffee. Absolutely, if you do want to contribute to that, you can contribute there. But we're out of the red now because $30 I can budget out, but 250, which is what it was, I couldn't really budget out. But anyway. Thank you so much for turning out for that. Now, anything that goes over the 250 here, I just want to be fully transparent about it, will go towards my electrolysis fund. So I will allocate that. Let me show you. So where yeah, why not? Just pulling it up. I'm just being transparent with everybody. I want everybody to know what's going on with the Hive. think that's gonna work. There we go. So, yeah, so far I've got 480 on it. I need at least to get to 800 before I can actually schedule the appointment. So, and I have other stuff that I'm dealing with personally that I'm not going to have trouble you guys with. But if you want to help to my electrolysis fund, that's great. Because I got one of those ones you do at home. But, you know, it's you work with what you got. Yeah, you can also donate to the channel. Just so you know, though, these other services, especially the Buy Me Coffee thing, is the preferred. Oh, I didn't want to share that with everybody, though. Anyway, that's just showing you who donated. A lot of people turned up for me, which I really appreciate. Everybody who donated. I still do have my Patreon. I know for my patrons, they do run the names and everybody runs down below there. But I need to pay more attention to my Patreon. That's true. I need to pay more attention to my patrons because you all are supporting me. I have just a handful of patrons right now. It kind of goes up and down depending on the month. You know, it's things are tough all over, so I'm not fretting about it. But if you want to join the Patreon, the reason I'm plugging things so bad right now, or so much right now, obviously, yeah, like I said, I'm a little bit strapped, but also because BugBot's down. I mentioned that in the comments up above, but BugBot's not here to drop all my links and stuff, so I just want to make sure I said all this stuff before we get into the show. But we do have a lot of show to cover. I want to say thank you. Oh, wow. Vandalia's been a member for 12 months. Happy first anniversary. Wow. Oh, and thank you, Ginger Nations. I appreciate that. Yeah, here's some hugs, sweetie. Bring it in. Actually, I like this better down on one shoulder. Is it better off that shoulder? Or is it better off this shoulder when I'm sitting here? I kind of like it off this shoulder, but this being higher shoulder when I'm talking. But the hair gets in the way. Yeah, there we go. Working on my look. This is my give me money look. Yeah, I'm poor. No, just unexpected hardships and whatnot. So, without further ado, we are 17 minutes into the show, and I got extra long Cryptic Corner. Well, I think it's going to be extra long. We'll see what happens. There's a lot to cover on this topic that we're dealing with, so I'm going to go ahead and get into it. Let's see. I'll see you guys over in Cryptic Corner. Hey, before I start the show, just want to say, hey, Q, if I've been using the wrong pronouns for you, let me know in the chat. If you they them, that's fine. I can adjust to that. I didn't want to assume, but last time we communicated, it was you were kind of a he, him, they, them neighborhood. But it's been a while since we've chatted, so let me know. Anyway, I'm gonna open up Cryptic Corner now. welcome, my beauties and bees, to another installment of Cryptic Corner, where we explore the unexplained, the supernatural, the paranormal and hidden, the mysterious, the alien, the accursed, and the forbidden. I'm your host, Miss Bumblebee, and yeah, we are going to be looking at at these thylacine photos that there's Forrest Galante. There's a lot of players involved in this, but we're gonna start Forrest Galante. But we have other people. We got Trey the Explainer, Angry Video Game Beaver, or not Angry Video Game Gaming Beaver, something like that. Archisuchus. We got a lot of players on the field for this one, and there's a lot to cover. So, I mean, here we are, right? Let's get right into it. So, Forrest Galante talks a lot about, like, cryptozoology and stuff like that. Has a YouTube channel with 808,000 subscribers. This video itself has been viewed 815K times, and I'll tell you right now that at least 4 of those times were me. So I've watched this quite a bit, gone over the description and the evidence that's presented. So I'm going to start it a bit into the video because this is a 55-minute video, and like I said, we have a lot to cover and a lot to go over. So we're going to start a few minutes in. There's what we have here is a preamble where he talks about history of this guy contacting, but he recaps that like throughout here, so there's really no need for me to start with that. And also don't want to like watch the whole freaking video and rip off the whole video anyway, but I'm going to give my own insight and commentary on this as a cryptozoologist. And you know, you all know me. I'm a skeptical cryptozoologist. A lot of people think when they see that on my profile that I'm like I believe in woo and stuff. But no, I'm a biologically based cryptozoologist. I haven't so far on this show. I haven't really got to prove any of the things real, right? Nothing's been shown to be evident. There's the only, so on the not deer, I kind of made a facetious tongue-in-cheek thing about that because I said, well, the musk deer, Siberian musk deer isn't really a deer, but it looks exactly like a deer with big vampire fangs. It's the not deer. So that would be the real not deer, not the not deer that people see on trail cams and shit. But needless to say, someone actually commented on that video thinking I was pushing the notion of not deer being a real thing. It's quite bizarre. You can be a cryptozoologist, right, and not believe all the nonsense. I do run around with some other highly skeptical cryptozoologist. Nikki from Sasquatch Secrets is pretty freaking skeptical. She's credulous about just about everything. I love Nikki. If you aren't subscribed to Nikki's channel, go check her out. She has panels. She brings a lot of believers on and stuff too. So if you like to see skeptics bouncing ideas off believers, Nikki's the place to go. Now Nikki's I don't think Nikki's quite as skeptical as I am, but yeah. And obviously, if you like Bigfoot and stuff, go over to Captive Desk too. Like I said, there's no bug bot here or else I'd have you drop a link for us. But yeah, if you like that Sasquatch type talk, you head on over to Grassman Chronicles with Captive Desk and look at the trees too. They have some great content over there. But I'm off on a tangent here. We need to get back to the thylacine, which is sort of the Bigfoot of Australia, right? It's the one that's the cryptid from Australia that has the most blurry, weird photos and alleged sightings all over the continent. Even though, as far as we can tell, thylacines went extinct in the mainland. When did, I don't want to give a false date, but I think it was within the last 10,000 years. Extinction from Australia. It's from mainland Australia. So, from the Australia Museum, they declined due to competition with dingoes. So I know they went extinct in Tasmania in 1936, but they lived in mainland Australia too, which is where a lot of these sightings happen, which is bizarre because they haven't lived there since, I think it's the Pleistocene. Yeah, 4,000 to 6,000. So the Holocene, but, you know, as a niche animal competing with dingoes. For, I guess that'd be about 20,000 years. So they held up pretty good. Dingoes never made it to Tasmania, though. So, in Tasmania, we had thylacines. Now, before I get too far into this, let me show you some thylacines. I'm going to drop you down here. Okay, so this is a thylacine. They are pretty large. They were the largest dasyurnid marsupial. Obviously, they're extinct now, but dasyurnids include the famous Tasmanian devil, the quoll, the tiger quoll is the biggest one of the quolls, I believe, and the numbat, which is insectivorous and cute as heck, but has stripes on its rump like this guy does. Let's see. Yeah, and they weren't all short-haired like this. There were subspecies that had longer pelts. This is one from the London Museum. So just to give you an idea, between the, you know, there's a varied way that they can look. Anyway, let's get back to. All right, here we go. We're gonna let this go.
Let's get right into it. So,
yeah.
Tell me, I know we chatted about this briefly over the phone, but give me the whole story. Like, where were you? What was the day? What were you doing there? Like, why?
Let me know how the audio is on this too, because I got it turned down a bit on my end because I've had some ear pain here the last week or so because I've been in these dang meetings at work and I don't have a control over it, over the volume, and it's making my ears sore. At some point, I'm have to steal you and do an interview on my new channel I'm putting together. I'm gonna steal you to talk. Anyway, evil laugh. Yeah, I come on and talk. I like to come on other people's channels and talk. There you go, Captive Desk. There you go. The Mothman thing. That's coming up too. There you go. Butt stripes.
Why were you in Tasmania? It's pretty hard for people to believe that a kid from Chicago, or not Chicago, Milwaukee?
Yeah. Minneapolis.
Minneapolis found a thylacine. So yeah, just lay it out for me, please.
So, I was visiting Tasmania with my. Hold on, let me fix my thing. It's falling apart.
Okay, that's fine. Don't worry, you've got a disguise on, and I look like.
I'm visiting Tasmania with my dad. You know, because we have.
All right, where were we?
I don't know. Anyways, so story is.
Yeah.
I'm visiting Tasmania with my dad.
Okay.
You know, because we have family down in Tasmania.
Yeah. Where does your family live?
They live in the area near the Suport. That's what it's called. Upper Suport, what it's called.
Okay.
All right, Upper Suport. Let's see. Upper Suport in Tasmania. We're going to pull that up on the map now. I don't want to have the map up because the map was what caused me to crash last time. But let's have a look at Upper Suport real quick. Yeah, and I'm going to do my thing here, so you're all going to have to bear with me. So here's Upper Suport. So we're looking. Okay, so in the north of Tasmania. Now, Hobart's the capital. But he talks about Yeah. Anyway, we'll get there. We'll get there. No worries.
And it's my aunt's husband, right? My aunt, my dad's sister, and she married him. He is from Tasmania.
Okay.
And so
you're sorry. So you're in Tasmania with your dad, right, on this trip. And this is a couple weeks ago?
yes, this was April 12th through 18th.
Gotcha.
It was just 6 days in Tasmania.
Nice.
April 12th through the 18th.
Yeah,
okay.
we're just down. My uncle's parents own like a farm, a sheep farm down there.
Cool.
Yeah, they've got like the big pastures with the sheep and the wool and all that.
Rad.
Yeah.
Rad. So
Sheep
you're
farm.
driving. Yeah. Tell me what happened, please.
All right, so they're going up to Upper Stowe Port, where there's a sheep farm. Okay, so I'm with them here. So we got an Emu River Forest Reserve. All right, I'm good. Continue.
We
Tell me if do you guys like it better when I pull the map up? Do you guys like it better when I do that, when I pull the map up and look at where we're going and where things are happening, or do you like it better I'm gonna look at the map anyway, but I can have the map up over here looking at it while we just watch the video over here. But I'd rather share the map if you guys like it.
We had just left. We were about to head back to Darwin International Airport to head back to the States.
Okay.
Darwin International Airport. Okay. How did they get to? Because Tasmania is an island. Darwin's an airport in Northern Australia. Like I think it's Darwin's the biggest city in Northern Australia, right? So, or what is it called? It's Northwest Territories. And flights from the U.S. are going to come across the Pacific to the entirety of Australia. There's never going to be a flight where you're going to go east to get to Oceania, to get to Australia or Tasmania or New Zealand or anywhere down there.
And it was 11:30ish.
Okay.
And so we're driving down the road. There's no street lights, so we got our headlamps on. On the side of the road, there's a dog, or what we think is a dog.
Okay.
We pull over because we like dogs, obviously. Who doesn't?
So, the thing about this part is that, especially if they're from the upper Midwest, I don't know that there is the impulse to pull over and interact with stray dogs and people from the upper Midwest. I mean, in my opinion, you see, dogs on the side of the road all the time because we have stray dog problem, we have feral dog problems here in the Midwest, and you don't see people like pulling over to interact with them, right? You don't see people. Generally, people are standoffish to strange dogs because, if you don't know, statistically of all mammals, dogs are the most dangerous, or attack the most people and send the most people to the emergency room every year. Dogs, the domestic dogs, Canis familiaris. Yeah. Anyway, continuing on.
Yep.
We noticed it's not a dog, obviously. Pretty quick though, but we're still like gonna try and help it.
Yeah.
Oh, Tux, I love ancient maps. We should talk about this Tartaria crap sometime. It's getting like mainstream attention. So yeah, if you're interested in discussing Tartaria and the weird maps that they use, or the weird interpretations of the maps that they have, Hit me up.
And so it might have just been eating something. I don't know, because there was blood. So either it got clipped by something, or it was eating something.
Okay.
So we get out.
Ooh, so there's blood. That's why they stopped, because there was blood. It's an interesting choice to tell the story this way. We're gonna see where this goes, though. I mean, I've listened to this before. Like I said, I've listened to it through a few times, but I wanted to do the actual sleuthing with you guys.
Got my flashlight.
Yep.
My phone. Not my phone. And my dad has like an actual flashlight, a real one.
Yep.
So he's shining it, and we're prepared to have to grab this.
Yeah, that's what the Aussies want you to believe. Australia's really, everything in Australia is really like a sweetheart teddy bear. Except for saltwater crocodiles. Don't fuck with the saltwater crocodile. All the rest of the critters, though, I mean, the stuff that like Sydney funnel webs, for instance, way overblown. These things are not athletic at all. They're not like running around like super fast or anything. When someone gets bit by a Sydney funnel web, it's because they stick their parts in some place where it is. And because the males will travel during the day and then travel at night, and then during the day they'll find a place to hide temporarily. Sometimes it's in a shoe, because shoes look like a nice. If you look at spiders dig their holes, and you look at a shoe, yeah, it's like, hell yeah, that's the kind of home I want, and that's what you end up with. So, Sydney funnel web's overblown, not a contender. We're going to talk about bad bug science later on in the show too. So this whole show's on CrypticCorner is about the Tasmanian tiger. But for my Live from the Hive audience, after this we got some bad bug science to dig into.
Dog.
Yeah. Can I stop you just for 1 second, Zach? So you were driving down the highway and you just saw it lying on the side of the highway, just so I understand it fully.
It wasn't a highway. It was like a small road.
Okay. And it was like lying on the tarmac, or it was in the bushes?
It was half on the tarmac.
Okay. That makes sense.
That's why we were like, oh no, doggy got hit.
Yeah, sure. And you pulled like up to it, or you kind of went by it and turned
Okay,
around, or
so
how did the approach work? I'm trying to think of the animal's behavior.
So it's laying on the side of the road, and they pull over to investigate it. There's blood. Somebody hit it, or somebody hit something, and whatever they hit, it was eating. Are you with me so far?
Behavior.
We pulled on the other side of the road.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we didn't want to spook it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we walked across the road because we weren't worried about cars, because we were like the only people we had seen in like an hour of driving.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Or farmland up there, down there, I guess. And
an hour of driving. Okay, so I know he said Darwin Airport, but Darwin Airport's way the heck up here. Darwin International in Tasmania, for anybody who doesn't know, is like about as far away from Darwin as you can get and still be in Australia. So I think Forrest is going to call him on it in a minute, but he's going to say he flew into Hobart. He's going to correct himself. So if we go from Hobart to Upper Stowe, that's about or Upper Stowport. I keep calling it Upper Stowe. There's a city around here called Stowe. But yeah, there's a few routes to take. They're all right around. At least these two are right around just under 4 hours, and this one's over 4 hours, but probably maybe more scenic. So there's a... Okay. But I don't know why you would cut all the way up to the coast and then cut back down. Unless there's no... Is there no route? I guess you could take this route. So anyway, yeah, we'll get back to the video.
And so we crossed the street, we got our flashlights, and the critter pokes his head up, and we can see, you know, he sees us. I'm saying I don't know if it was a boy or a girl, but I'm just assuming it was a guy.
That's fine.
And you know, we get close enough because we kind of like we run over because we don't want him to get away.
It's like 10 a.m. here.
So you've got a phone in your hand, and your dad's got a flashlight, correct?
Phone is like right here.
Okay, so you're holding it like this, basically, or like that. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So at first I got my flashlight out, and then I got my camera out as my dad brings up the actual flashlight, which is a lot brighter than the iPhone one.
Of course, yeah, of course.
So we get over there, and he stands up.
Okay, so it stands up. It was laying down. It stands up. I'm making a timeline over here. Laying down. And they crossed the road. Okay.
You know, and he bares his teeth.
Well, hold on. So you get over there. At what point were you or your dad like, that's not a dog? Or did you still think it was a dog? Or like, what was the thought process?
I thought it was a dog up until it opened its mouth.
Okay.
And it made the shriek sound.
Uh-huh.
Made this like shrieky, almost like a meow.
Can you mimic it? I mean, I'm trying to put you on the spot here, but can you do it? Like, what did it sound like?
like a...
It's pretty good. Sounds pretty cool. Okay, I like it. I mean, I don't know what a thylacine sounds like. So.
You saying you just finished watching this, John? I didn't know if that's what you were saying or not, but yeah, I've watched this through a couple of times now.
That sounds good to me.
I didn't know either. I just assumed, you know, but I knew it wasn't a dog that made that noise.
Okay, yeah.
And like at that point, when he gets up, we're like, okay, buddy, don't bite us. Let's back off and let you be. Being, you know. And so I take a few pictures because like, oh my gosh, that's not a dog. That's
I guess that's just how they
dingo or some garbage.
So you didn't know. You weren't like, that's a thylacine. You're just like, that's a weird dog or a dingo or something.
And I want to say that dingoes don't live in Australia. There's feral dogs in Australia. But that's part of the reason why the thylacine was able to survive into the 20th century and in Tasmania. Or I say it doesn't live in Australia. The dingo doesn't live in Tasmania. It lives in Australia, but not on the island of Tasmania. They never got brought over. So, yeah, I know. I thought that was kind of, an interesting choice for sure. That's a good way to put it. Like, I guess it's like an artistic style. But, yeah, dingoes. So you wouldn't expect to see a dingo in Tasmania. Maybe a feral dog, but not a dingo.
Thing.
Yeah, well, that's why I sent it to my friend Henry because he knows about.
Gotcha. Yeah. Gotcha.
Ice Age Pleistocene stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so.
Pleistocene.
I was mentioning that. I'm like, oh my gosh, please don't bite me, dog. Or dingo, you are. Big Tasmanian devil. I don't know. And so I snap a few pictures because I'm like, I don't know what this is. I'm going to send them to Henry because he knows mammals and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm the turtle guy.
A dingo ate my baby. There you go. Just for you. A dingo ate my baby.
And Then he gets up, does the meow, and then he kind of just turns around and gallops back into the.
Now, a thylacine will not eat your baby. That's a thing that's true about them. They might eat your chickens. That's probably about it. They got accused of eating sheep and stuff, but I don't know. I suppose with enough effort, they could take down. Because I mean, sheep are. A lamb can be taken down by a house cat. I've seen videos of house cats come dragging home a baby lamb, and the owners are like, "What the?" Or a baby, even baby deer. I've seen house cats drag them home, but they're not. House cats. The problem is they don't have the jaw strength anymore to to do the proper chokehold on it. But like a Scottish wildcat, for instance, can take down a lamb. Some birds of prey can take down a lamb. So it doesn't take much to take down a sheep, and that was the main livestock that they were concerned about when they were trying to eradicate the thylacine. Even though it would definitely have been a more of a threat to like poultry and stuff, I would say.
There's a line of, I think they're just eucalyptus trees near the fence, right?
Yep.
So he goes along the fence and into these trees, and that's where I lost him.
And that's it. So how long was the entire encounter, would you say? Like, how long were you with the animal?
Oh, man, probably only 30 seconds max.
You got some good photos for 30 seconds.
That's including him running away.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah, I had my button.
Yeah.
I was pictures to try and get a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Zach, what did your dad think of this whole thing?
We'll get
He
into
thought
the
it was a
pictures
dog.
here in
He
about
was like,
2
"Oh my
minutes.
god, that's a freaky looking dog."
Yeah.
He thought it would belong to the people whose farm we were near.
Uh-huh.
They were just like, "Oh, I bet
Freaky looking
he
dog.
because we weren't going to follow him."
Sure.
Yeah, probably
okay.
eat a cat too.
And then, your dad couldn't join us today. You said you guys don't live together, right? And he didn't want to zoom in. Yeah.
We don't talk.
He looks kind of like he's dressed up as Cartman. Just like with muted colors.
much. This trip was kind of like an outlier thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No worries. Okay, so first I'm going to ask the biggest, hardest question that I think.
Could the turtle guy be P-Town? That's a possibility.
Anybody that listens or watches this.
Yeah, they could probably eat your dog too.
How do it, like...
A lot of breeds of dogs would kill a thylacine, though. Thylacine weren't huge.
How do I know this isn't bull, Zach? You know what I mean? Like, this is a big deal. I'm not sure if you're fully grasping, like, how substantial this discovery could be. Like, how do I know? By the way, I'm just being candid. I don't want to offend you, but it's like, I looked at the photos, I zoomed in, I showed it to a bunch of guys, we checked internet resources, we checked a bunch of stuff. They're all like, yeah, it looks legit. So I'm rooting for you here, but like, how do I know it's not like a hoax? Like what is there to go on here, Zach?
We're gonna talk some metadata here in a little bit too, so.
Well, there's the pictures, and I know in this day and age we can't trust pictures.
Sure.
It's like, from my knowledge of the situation, this is basically like I caught Sasquatch.
Yeah, totally.
There's the camera angle again. I mean,
to
each their own. He wants to show off how full his beard is from all angles. I get it. Got a nice looking beard. I agree.
I can get you the area where
I wish he was doing a Cartman voice while he was dressed like this, though. Could you imagine?
this happened.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite
True. Yeah, we had neighbors way a long time ago when I was a kid, but that they had kittens in their barn, and a group of turkey vultures started hanging out on top of the barn. Waiting for those kittens to walk out, and they would stoop down and grab them. And there was nothing Mama Cat could do about it. It was sad.
exact, but that stretch of road is pretty not inhabited.
Yeah. Well, let's do this. Let's dig into the photos, because I'm going to screen share with you, and I want to look through the photos, if that's cool, and you can sort of tell me what the animal was doing and what was happening.
Yeah, he's worried the thylacines are gonna come looking for him. Like, what are you afraid of, dude? What are you afraid is gonna happen? Like, they talk about that too, but you know.
And this is insane. And then, you know, I'm going to try and, like, poke holes in it just so you can tell me everything, you know, like, how it unfolded, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. And, of course, man, I mean, no, you can understand my skepticism, right? It's like, holy shit, this is a big deal. Like, there's so many Bigfooty type thylacine things out there. Like, I'm not saying that's what you're doing. I'm just, like, I'm trying to cover all my bases here.
I totally... I would be a lot more hesitant if you weren't skeptical.
Sure.
To be honest, because I've seen, like, Finding Bigfoot, and those guys are crazy. Again, I didn't know you existed before my friend.
Q, you can definitely get a transcript of this, and then mute the part where the guy talks, and just read the transcript in the Cartman voice for me, and yeah, we'll throw together a video.
You, I did look up some clips. I saw, like, Animal Planet and junk.
Yep.
And junk.
Not to say Animal Planet is the catch-all, because they also aired Bigfoot.
I'm with you, man.
Anyway.
I'm with you.
Well,
yeah, I appreciate a little bit of skepticism.
Great. Well, let's dig into these photos here. So I'm going to go screen share and my desktop.
Here we go.
Are you seeing my desktop here?
I am, the kelp forest.
Yep, that's it. I like diving. All right, I'm going to pull up these photos. We'll just do them one at a time here. All right, so this is the first photo. Can I ask you, so yeah, what's this photo? Tell me what I'm looking at here, like when this photo happened.
All right, let's see here. I think I have this one. We're not there yet. Nope, I don't have that one up on my list, so we're gonna go back to this one, and we'll use this as our point of reference. There is some stuff we have to talk about with this picture in particular, but the posture is interesting. The tail's interesting.
Okay, so that is after he hissed, growled, meowed at me.
Uh-huh.
Right? He turned around and was running along the fence. You can't really see it in the photo, but there's a little, like, wire and post fence behind him.
Okay.
I don't think he wanted to get past. Like, he didn't want to squeeze through.
Okay.
That's him walking along the
Gotcha.
fence.
So sadly, this is the most, like, Bigfooty of all the photos, but it's the first one that came up in order, which makes sense, because I think it was your last photo. So I'm going to pull up the next one now. Now that one's pretty on the money. That's the face of the animal. So what happened here? Like, what am I seeing here, Zach?
All right.
Okay. Flashlight is coming at him from the side from my dad.
Okay.
He had just meowed at me.
Okay.
Right? He closed his mouth. He was looking at us. I was looking at him. It was like a standoff.
He keeps saying meowed like a cat, I guess. So, A hawk sat on the corner of my mom's roof when I brought Nina Bear over as a puppy. It was trying to scoop her up when I walked away. Yeah, when I was in school, I did this job where I installed satellites for, on the side. And I was installing a satellite once, and I saw a hawk, like, watching somebody's little dog. The dog was on a chain, though, out in the yard. Like, someone put it out and put it on a chain so it could go to the bathroom. Mm-hmm.
If you've ever, like we weren't sure which either one of us was going to do. We were both waiting for the other to attack.
What do you guys think of this one? So there's the thylacines face from the front. And let me see if I can do... Let me see what I can do here. Do 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 do. Oh, not like that. Not like that. Here we go. Maybe not. Yeah, we're gonna have a trouble getting them side by side, but not bad. Not bad. Not too far off. All right. Let's see.
Yep.
And then 2 seconds later, he went off running along the fence.
This photo's crazy, dude. Like, if this is legit, like, I'm believing you. Like, if this is legit, like, holy shit, man. I don't think, maybe you do understand what you've got, but, like, I'm blown away, man. This is...
By the way, I'm just showing you my slides instead of his video. All that's on his videos. It's going back and forth between, between them talking about it like this with a smaller version of the picture and him looking at the screen with that over-the-shoulder shot. That's, a interesting choice.
You know, it's like that 1 in a billion where lightning strikes twice kind of thing. Like, this is like the fact that you got this. I mean, this changes everything. So, wow.
I definitely understand what I got now.
Yeah. And I know you said, you know, and I'm going to pull up the next photo here. I know you said, I think Henry reached out to Tagoa, but then you guys looked up the organization and you were a little bit less inclined to share. So this is still the only place
Tagoa.
Right?
Tagoa came at me. They're like, "Hey, we ripping off our content," because I did a review of one of their sightings, and they're like, "Oh, you're ripping off," or was that might have been that might have been the thylacine research group. Was one of them, but yeah, they came at me about it, and I'm like, what I said is, "Hey, big fan of your work. I'm reviewing your content under fair use to see what you all found." Sorry.
Well, yeah, he looked up Tagoa. He asked to like talk to them.
Yes, I agree, Robert. Of all the cryptids I can think of, the thylacine is the one that I think is probably the most likely, and I think the thylacine would be the one I'd want to be still alive the most. Just saying.
Yeah.
They didn't respond. They responded, but it was a blank message. So he was like, "All right, let's just send it to the other guy."
Yeah.
They later called us after we talked, and he told us to keep the secret. And they were, "Let's look." We're like, "No," and then they proceeded to insult us for like 3 emails. So.
Yeah, they're good at that. They're really good at that.
Yeah.
So can I ask you a question? When was this photo taken? Do you know what night this photo was taken?
The last night I was there.
So he's saying the photo was taken the last night he was there.
So that would be April 18th, is that right?
Yes.
So if I look at the metadata on this photo, it says April 22nd, which is the day after you guys contacted me, or Henry did. So I'm wondering, did you guys, do you have an explanation for that?
So I think I sent it to him.
Yeah.
And he copied it.
Gotcha.
The Barbary lion is extinct. I think there's still some lines that are genetically related to them in captivity that have been generationally kept in captivity. I could be wrong about that. I can look into that. The Barbary lion definitely sounds like a fun topic to cover on Bree's Bestiary, which we do have an episode of today, but it's not about Barbary lions. It's about a little special creature that I love so much. So if you're interested in what kind of creatures Bree loves, stick around for Bree's Bestiary at the end of the show, where we look at one of my favorite creatures.
He doesn't have a good phone.
Yeah. So do you have better quality than this, or is this is it, right?
That's the same quality.
Yeah, gotcha. So these are like screenshots or something like that of the photos.
I believe so, yeah. I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to ask him.
Okay, no problem. I just wanted to ask because I was looking at the metadata and I was like, wait, this is after they contacted me. So something, it's not like you didn't have the photos. So I was like, something got lost in the data transfer. All right, so what's this photo? And this is the one that, before I saw it, this was the first photo that I saw when Henry messaged us. And this is the one where I was like, holy that looks legit. So what's this photo?
That is, I'm standing just in the road at this moment.
Yeah.
And I take a picture of him. Because I'm like, oh no, I want to like get the pictures essentially.
Yeah.
And
how far away is it?
It's interesting that he said that the animal was on the side of the road here, because this looks like it's in the grass. I get the impression that this is laying in grass. How did they see it from the road if it was laying in? I mean, maybe they did. Maybe they did.
This in the photo, like how far are you from the animal?
So I zoomed in.
Yeah.
Say maybe 15 feet.
Okay.
I was just watching something about the ivory-billed woodpecker right before I started the show this morning while I was getting ready, when I was doing my makeup. Yeah, we still get sightings of them in the Midwest too. In the upper, I mean, you're in, well, what'd you say, Arkansas? So you're in the Midwest. There's Midwest, South, Midwest. Yeah, I grew up in Missouri, so, yeah, kind of the same neighborhood, and we get ivory-billed woodpecker sightings from time to time. I think that's the pileated woodpecker that most people are seeing, though.
Yeah, gotcha. What iPhone model do you have, Zach?
iPhone model, I think it's an 11.
An 11, okay. Yeah.
I'm not.
That's okay. I'm just curious, because I know the newer ones, like I have a 14, I think, and they take better photos at night, but no matter what, when you zoom in at night, it gets so pixely and bad, so...
I think I have an 11 too, so no shade there. I know I have a 13. I have an iPhone 13, but I had 11.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So let me leave that up. So he's lying down here. You're standing on the road taking this photo. Are you vertical or horizontal when you take the photo with the phone?
Correct.
Vertical. Gotcha. And then after this is when he stood up. Is that correct?
Yeah. He probably just heard us coming.
Yeah.
He heard us stop. He heard us walk in.
Okay, let's look at the next one. Oh, sorry, go ahead. No, please go ahead. I'm sorry.
We were saying like, we should like call up a vet, and I was arguing like, let's at least get to him first before we do that.
Yeah.
The trunk.
So, okay, this photo again, it's like that super grainy, clearly far away. You've got the mouth open, the eye blurred. I mean, the sort of teeth.
I have a lot to say about this photo, so we will revisit this one later in the show.
Very interesting. Anything to say about this photo?
Yes. So after he got up, he meowed at us. He ran off. He went along the fence.
Yeah.
He went right first, realized that probably wasn't the best way to go, stopped, and then went the other way.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I think he was probably confused. He was stressed, I assume.
Why do you think his mouth's open like this? Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know. I think he's just kind of like...
Could it be because this is a popular pose to display the thylacine in pop culture and media to demonstrate how wide it could open its jaws, which is pretty impressive.
He didn't make any noise when he was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least he might have.
Yeah.
It happened fast, so I don't have every single...
this one doesn't seem to have any stripes at all.
But he wasn't making sound or panting or anything like that at this point in time.
He might have been panting.
Okay.
I didn't hear it.
Okay. Copy. Okay, let's look at the next one. Oops, I just stopped sharing. That was a mistake. My bad. Stand by. I meant to X out of the photo. Can you see my screen again?
Yep.
Great. Okay. Next one.
The next one's just
this
a
one
blur.
I don't think we really need to dig into. I appreciate that you guys sent every photo. I know. Liam was asking Henry for that, but I mean, is there anything you want to say about it? I see the blur up here, but it's not very distinct like some of the other ones.
I think he was juggling in that one. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just a blurry one.
Yeah.
Just follow camera clicking.
Yep. Sort of same with this one, right?
Another blur.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's have a look at this guy. What about here? Same sort of thing.
Same. He was running, walking.
Yep. Are you a good artist, Zach?
I would say so.
Yeah, so I feel like the only way that I could see this not being real is if somebody tried to draw these. Like if they like were really, really good, like photorealistic artist, which I can't do a stick figure, so I don't know much about that. But that's like the only way I could see these being cheated.
It seems
really.
like there's a backdrop
I
behind
draw
it too, because you always see a
turtle for you.
blacker
No,
shadow.
that's okay. Thank you though. How about this photo?
behind
What's happening
the-
here? And I see the lighting and the shadow. Like what's the angle? What's going on in this photo?
So this was him turning around, and I was readjusting my phone to try and like get a better look at him.
Doesn't it look like a backdrop? With the maybe it's the grass. You're gonna be charitable and say it's the grass, I guess.
He's after the crowd, still in front of us though. He turns and he goes off to the fence.
Gotcha. Okay. I think there's one or two more. Two more. That's another blurry one.
Third one.
And then, oh, I haven't even seen this one yet. Liam must have got this one later. So what's this photograph?
This was also just after he had meowed at us.
Okay.
Flashlight's shining at him. As
Yeah.
you can see, the eye not as good.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the same as that other really good one you said.
Yeah.
iPhone is kind of finicky with lighting, so I guess this one is just better quality, I guess.
Now
Okay,
the interesting difference between the stripes on this one and how high they come up on the back, because it looks like they're coming up to like the middle of the shoulder girdle, and if we look, this one the stripes are more centered around the rump. Now thylacines have an interesting build where their back end is a bit more robust. They carry their weight further back on their hips, almost well marsupial-like is really what it comes down to, because they have to have that, because the females have to have that area down there to to carry their pouch, and it has to be protected. So yeah, they the stripes don't seem to come up to the shoulder here, which is, I mean, and that could be a lighting thing, of course, but this one doesn't seem to have any stripes at all, though. Like, as far as I can see, where did the stripes go on this one? But they're on this picture now, so.
And then there's one more that didn't end up in the folder for some reason, which is this. Does that mean anything to you, that photo?
Let me see. And what is this? Not that one. That one. There we go.
Yeah, that was him yelling.
Gotcha. I wonder why that didn't end up in our folder. I'll have to check. But
Why?
I mean, that one, man, I'm gonna zoom in on it. And the nose looks a little funky, but what is he up against there, right? The shadow's being cast against something, right?
This one really, really throws the whole thing out the door for me, because I don't think the bottom jaw lines up with the top jaw. It looks like it's been cut here. The nose looks like it was cut off, because that's the same green as the background. We'll explore this again later on, so don't go anywhere.
I think that might just be like my dad, the shadow on him.
Oh, I meant behind, like, see the outline? Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's either my shoulder or my dad's shoulder or something like that.
Gotcha. Okay. Wow. Yeah, I want to go back to these main ones here. I mean, that one there where the eye shine and looking in the nose and stuff, that's pretty crazy, man. Well, what do you think? All right, so, okay, wow. I don't even know what to say. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing here. We've looked through all the photos. What else can you say, Zach? Like, what else do you want to tell me about this whole thing? Is, you know, like, you stand by it, right? This is legit, right?
All right.
This is legit. This is legitimate.
Okay. So what do you think, man? Talk to me. Like, just pitch me here, or prove, like, tell me what to do here. Like, what's going on?
I mean, get the conservation people out there, try to capture one, bring them back to like
Okay,
the zoo.
conservation,
The zoo
sure.
something.
Yeah, I'll take all the right steps for the conservation side of it. I'm thinking more like about the sighting. Like, what did it mean to you? Like, what else can you tell me about the sighting? Like, what else can you say to the experts I'm going to share this with that'll be like, oh, this is made up? Like, what else can you say? You know, like, give me some stuff where I'm like, no, I believe Zach. Here's the story. Here are the photos. Here's what Zach has to say about it. Like, tell me what to say here.
Well, I mean, like it
Come on,
was
Zach.
it was there. We got out. We saw him run. He was he ran. He mostly looks like he was using his back legs more than his front legs.
Okay.
I didn't see a limp or anything. His tail was stiff.
Yep. Wow. Anything else? Yeah.
Yeah, like there was in the picture, he was light colored. I think a little bit lighter than the pictures really show.
Okay.
It was like a sandy color.
Okay. How big was he, Zach?
He came up to my, like, just above my knee. I am 6'3".
Oh, you're a big kid.
Large man. And so he probably came up just above my knee.
Okay.
He was maybe like 4 feet long.
Okay.
From like snout to tail tip.
So the size here sounds good. And it sounds like the guy did his research, at least on how big a thylacine should be.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
I don't know how big they normally get, so I don't know if this was like a.
That sounds about right.
One.
Yeah. Zach, what was your flight path to and from Tasmania from Minneapolis? I mean, I'm just thinking I'm thinking through everything. Like I said, the whole lightning striking twice. A kid from Minneapolis, sorry, I shouldn't call you a kid, but a man from Minneapolis with his dad taking a late night drive and finding this animal that thousands of people have looked for years and years and years, for decades, really. That's how it happens, though, right? Like, it's not who you expect, and it's just the stars have to align. So I'm not questioning that, but like I'm just thinking through the whole thing. Like, what was your flight path to Tasmania from Minneapolis?
Like I can't remember like the times we took.
No, not the times. Just what airports did you fly?
Oh, we went to Darwin International.
Okay. That's in Darwin, right?
What?
That's in Darwin, not in Tasmania, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Darwin
It's in
International.
Tasmania, I think, right? Or I might be thinking of a different one.
So you flew where? You flew Minneapolis to where to where?
So we drove to Chicago, where we took the flight there at JFK or whatever it is.
O'Hare.
Flew to Australia.
Yep.
It would be O'Hare, right? JFK is in New York. Where's O'Hare at? I don't remember. I've been out by O'Hare, but I don't remember where it is. Anyway, but yeah, come on from the Chicagoland area. So that's the important part here.
And that was pretty much it.
So there wasn't a connector, so you went straight from JFK to Tasmania? I mean, you might have. I just don't know that flight path.
There wasn't a connection, no.
Gotcha.
Pretty straightforward trip.
Got.
So JFK is in New York. So flying from Chicago to New York. Maybe? That's not any flight from Chicago to anywhere in Australia, okay? Any flight from anywhere in the U.S. to Australia, it comes from this area right here. The furthest north I've ever seen a direct flight to Australia was from Vancouver. I believe they fly to Dallas, San Francisco, LAX. I think did I have some slides for that? Hold on. Let me see. If I did, they're way back. Yeah, here we go. So, I mean, and then of course Hawaii. So, and none of them go directly to Hobart. None of them even go to Darwin. You're going to connect out of Brisbane, Sydney, or Melbourne. Melbourne. Sorry, I'm using my American accent here. Melbourne. There's not going to connect through Darwin. And it's not going to be direct to Hobart. So he would have had to gone through one of these airports here and switched planes, right? They would switch planes in probably in Melbourne. Just speculating here. They would have had to switch planes in Melbourne. Hey, Nikki, I was singing your praises earlier, girl. I was talking about being a proper skeptic, and I was saying, hey, Nikki is a proper skeptic. So, yeah, I was plugging your show, girl. So anyway, that is the flight pass, right? So let's let these guys keep talking.
Okay.
Which is why Dad will not do anything with a layover.
Gotcha. So you just went New York to Tasmania.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Because yeah, Darwin International Airport's in Darwin, which is in mainland Australia. Are you thinking of maybe Hobart?
Yes, Hobart.
Okay, gotcha. That's a big that's the airport, like the international hub in Tasmania. And then you drove from Hobart to your relatives. Is that correct?
Yes, Hobart is the city.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many hours is that drive from the airport to where your relatives live?
It was like 2 hours.
And then you're on your way back, is that right? When you...
It should be more like 4 hours, as we looked at the routes laid out here. The fastest route that you're gonna make is gonna be, I don't know, if you sped the whole way, maybe you can trim this down to 3.5 hours. But the problem is you get up into here, and there's almost a temptation to pull off on these back roads, because this one will take you all the way up to the coast in order to get down to here, which is, yeah. Oh shoot, I'm not showing you guys. Sorry, derp. Let me see. Okay, so sorry. Here we go. Yeah. So these are the routes, right? From Hobart to Stowport. 3 hours and 47 minutes. But you could probably trim this route down. This route could be. It's funny. I interchanged the word route and route. But yeah, you could trim this route down. But the problem is when you get up into here, there's not a lot of cross country pathways to get to cut down your trip. That's why the only alternative paths are these ones, but none of them are under 3.5 hours. He's saying 2 hours.
And you saw this because it was the last night, you said, right?
We're on our way back to Hobart.
Yeah. And then you flew home the next day, or you flew home late that night, or what?
We flew home. We stopped by the airport. We slept at the airport.
Yeah.
Because it was early in the morning.
Yeah.
Woo! Go Nikki! She hit 1,000. Yay!
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Man, this is crazy. This is crazy, Zach. I don't even know, I got to be honest, I'm still so skeptical, but just because it's so rare, and I think that's why I want to handle this the right way. So is there anything else you want to add to anybody that sees this that might be a skeptic, or anything else you want to tell me, or anything else that stands out in your mind? I get it, right? You're driving, you saw something, you took some photos, you sent it to your buddy. You're like, that's the whole story. But, what, is there anything else that stands out that you want to point out or bring up?
I don't think it's aggressive. It's very scary, but I think that's just what animals do when they're scared, when they see people. I don't think, in the moment I was worried it was going to bite me, but that's just because you don't want to be like, oh, it's friendly.
Yeah.
You should always be worried it's going to bite you. And I'm the girl who wants to boop everything and wants to pet all the little creatures that I run into in the world. But it is not a good idea to go around trying to interact with wildlife. Observe and from a distance, watch them do their thing, but don't try to get close enough to where you're gonna get bit or gored. This is coming up on the summer months where everybody's gonna be hitting the national parks and stuff. So precisely that, right? Precisely that. Don't go out there and pick a fight with a bison. It doesn't. You're not able to defeat a bison.
But looking back on it, I think it was not likely to attack.
Sure.
So I don't want people to think that these things are going to be hunting their kids or stuff. I don't know.
I don't think.
It's a very marsupial-like behavior to show your big teeth to anything that wants to mess with you. You just show them all your teeth.
So I don't think there's a big fear of that. I think there's a lot of desire to see these animals bounce back. But of course, that's the world that I live in. So
they're not like coyotes or wolves, up here, where because you're from the U.S. I'm sure you know how people don't like those animals, especially up in the more rural.
Yep.
Rural. So I just want to try to get that point across if
Why
I can.
they say liberal?
Zach, so you've done a good job.
Try to get that point more rural.
Yep.
Rural. The U.S. I'm sure you know how people don't like those animals, especially up in the more rural.
Yep.
Rural. Oh, people don't like those animals, especially up in the more rural.
Yep.
Rural. So I just want to up in the more rural.
Yep.
Rural. So I just want to
I don't know
try
what
to
he's
get that
saying.
point across if I can.
Zach, so you've done a good job, staying anonymous with your face in the hood and stuff. Is there anything else, if I take this to some of the experts that I know in Tasmania?
I don't know why liberal people generally like environmental stuff for the most part. I don't know. That's kind of a weird thing. It's more of the conservative people, which tend to be the ranchers and stuff that have a problem with wildlife predation
and things like that. Would you be open to showing your face to them and speaking through this, on another more scientific level when it comes to those that are undeniably, Zach? Here's what's going to happen. With your permission, I'm going to share this. Right? Can you consent to that?
Spooky, that you think the fluffy cows are cute, but The fluffy cows don't think you're cute at all. They think you want to eat their. They think you want to eat their babies.
I can consent to that being shared as long as my face is blurred, even with my disguise.
Oh, so you want your face blurred in addition to the disguise?
Yeah, just because I don't fully trust how good my disguise was.
Pretty good, man. You look like a video game character. But yeah, we'll do like a blur your eyes out thing. That's fine, right?
Yeah,
okay.
I could find.
No problem. No problem. Okay. So you consent to us distributing this if your eyes are blurred out.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's the point of even... they could have slapped an avatar over him if they were going to go through all this, right? I mean, come on.
And then, you know, I am gonna distribute this. I'm gonna try and take all the appropriate steps here. And then as I send this on, would you? I know you have my cell number now because I was texting you before.
Yeah, this is gonna be a long episode of Cryptic Corner, guys. I hope you're in for it because this is just the first video, and I got a couple more to go through. None of them are this
Can you
long
text me
now.
the original photos, please?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That'd be really helpful because I think going from you to Henry to Liam to me, the metadata's got messed up, and you know some seem kind of zoomed in and some seem kind of zoomed out. You can just send me all the originals. That'd be really helpful.
Yeah, for sure. I'll do that after the call.
Perfect.
So I'm not smudging up the recording with my hands.
No, you're good, man. That's fine. Yeah, do it after the call, and then I'll have the original photos as opposed to the ones that have played telephone already. Listen, Zach, this is
He did say rule. He said, well, they translated it to ruler, but he said something else after that.
amazing. We're gonna stay in touch. Congratulations, assuming that there's gonna be a next step.
All right, so that's the interview, right? And we went over this just a minute ago. So now the gaming beaver guy came at this. So we're gonna.
Tiger you've seen going around the internet. Before me and Excited reacted to another Forrest Galante video, I thought it best to address the comments and criticism that we'd received on making the Tasmanian tiger video. And in doing so, I actually ended up finding out a lot more than I expected, even possibly the identity of the person who sent those Tasmanian tiger photos to Forrest. So, let's get on with the video then, shall we? I want to address the comments and feedback we got with the previous video, which was about the Tasmanian tiger. A lot of people thought I was making fun of Forrest, which wasn't the intention. The intention was to poke fun at this guy giving Forrest this proof.
And it made the shriek sound. Almost like a meow.
It's pretty good.
And when somebody wants to believe something
Oh goodness.
so badly,
I want to believe. I really, really want to believe.
any bit of evidence to whoa, maybe actually. I didn't mean for it to go that way. I was more laughing at this person who was stumbling over his words and trying to put this story to.
I mean, I don't know if he was stumbling over his words. He definitely didn't have everything put together. He didn't seem like he did any research on the area that he was supposedly visiting because he couldn't talk about what airport he went to, where he flew into, where he flew out of. He called the airport in Chicago JFK, which is it's O'Hare in Chicago. JFK is in New York. And then he called the airport in Hobart, Darwin, but he said that there was a direct flight from either New York or Chicago to Hobart, Tasmania, and that's not a real flight. That doesn't exist anywhere. You can't even stay on the same plane to get to Hobart.
Together, which made literally no sense. But I will say that the one photo that Forrest did find very convincing was the one where it didn't even look like a Tasmanian tiger when it was looking at the camera head on.
Now that one's pretty on the money. That's the face of the animal.
He's never seen one, so how could he know?
True, but we saw that old footage, the footage of the one in the zoo, and when you compare that to what this one looked like head on, the head shape's completely off.
So that's why I showed these, because I want to show that there is some diversity in the head shape of a thylacine. They can have this sort of facial structure, but they can also have a shorter, more fox-like appearance. So and this is authentic. This is a real thylacine. Anyway.
Big head.
He had a huge head.
Tiny head.
That's my dog. He has a tiny head. We got him from Romania. He's a little mutt. His body's a normal-sized dog, but then his head's like chihuahua-sized. Forrest said that he would give an update if anything happened. And I saw another guy who covers sort of this cryptid stuff, and he's like UK-based. He said he got in touch with Forrest, asked if there had been any update.
I messaged Forrest. Really cool video, well done. Has there been an update? Because at the end
wildlife
of Forrest's video, he did ask this guy to send him the original photos. So Forrest asked him, can you send over these photos? Now, I asked Forrest, did this happen? Did he send them over? And Forrest said no. There's been no update on that so far. Red flag.
I mean, at that point, it's pretty obvious that...
Yeah, it's they're concerned about the metadata.
You know, it's a hoax.
I will try not to boop the snapping turtles, John.
This is why we can't have nice feet.
And since I made my video, even more of the photos have been debunked. For instance, this was the one Forrest was most skeptical of.
This last one is the only one to me that looks like a drawing.
And he had right to do so, because if we just take a look at this thylacine picture that Archer Suchas posted, all we have to do to recreate this is to take the head and the legs. And already we've got half the animal. Now you might be thinking, well, what about the back? That looks completely different to the back on there. And you would be right, but all we have to do for that one is take another picture from Archer Suchas' thylacine, and there you go. You have the back, and before you know it, you've pretty much...
Now, if you look at the reconstruction our friend did here, the only spot that's left is not reconstructed is this right here, the shadowy area. So I don't know how much I buy of this, but we'll look at Archisuchus. Archisuchus. It's Archisuchus, not Suchus, because it's like the crocodilians. Suchus.
Recreated with just simple cutting out and rotation that exact same thylacine. This was the one from my previous video that we debunked.
I thought
from his previous video that they debunked.
this one's pretty... This is the worst one.
Showcasing that it was pretty much just that head puppet that wasn't made. But if you were still unconvinced, and you were like, well, what about the teeth down here and the gum line? Well, Archer Suchas made this picture, and this one really closely matches the teeth there, and all you have to do is just move it down a little bit around, and you've got that dark line mark from it.
And I do have that here. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, so, as I said I would talk about this in a bit. Let's look. Alright, so here's what I did. I just overlaid, shifted shape, and overlaid it. And did the slow transition, like I do with my Bigfoot pictures, like I did. Voila. Right, and you can actually see that the nose was photoshopped off there, right? And you can see Photoshop lines. But that's not all. There's another picture that we're gonna compare to this image, this specific image, right? It's the one where we flip it. Yeah, there we go. We'll flip it around. And we're going to make the comparison here. You see how good the chest and everything's lining up. So, my only concern is the lower jaw. The lower jaw doesn't really... Everything else matches up fine, but I can't get that lower jaw line up. I give it a little twist here, but it doesn't do much. But the way the lower jaw looks like it's longer than the top jaw really does transfer over. Yeah, and it's just showing us again. Anyway, so I did some overlays with that.
Finally, the easiest one to debunk was this image that I've brightened from a screenshot from Forrest's video.
So sadly, this is the most like Bigfooty of all the photos, but it's the first one that came up.
And that one was super easy. It is literally just this picture. You can just flick between the two, and the markings literally match up. The legs don't, but that takes no effort at all. All you do is just cut it out and move it around.
Just so you all know, I don't agree with this assessment here. I don't think these line up at all. From the frame to the to the stripe pattern, to the leg position. The head positions are almost right, and the tail positions are almost right, but because the angle of the back and everything is different. And this this image, well, here, let's see, is it gonna, yeah, good. Okay, so we can pop back and forth between them. So the tail is more down, tail is more up, head is more up, head's more down. The hind legs are the leg in the back is almost perfectly lined up right here. Just it pops out at the about halfway down the thigh, whereas on this, lose my place. Maybe. Where'd it go? Anyway, yeah.
That one was super easy. It is literally just this picture. You can just flick between the two, and the markings literally match up. The legs don't, but that takes no effort at all. All you do is just cut it out and move it around. And there you have it. 3 of the photos now have been debunked. As Forrest is an expert on the subject, this kind of looks bad for him. He needs to either take the video down or post an update to the video addressing the situation and how he was taken advantage of by a guy who just did some Photoshop. A simple mistake for someone who's not media literate like a lot of people online.
That's like reflection. Yeah. That's a hard thing. Like, I don't care what yellow marker you have or anything. Like, that's pretty hard to get that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That one really looks like eye shine.
The fact he didn't do any due diligence or look to see if these pictures existed anywhere online is bad enough. But there is something to have been said for this, though. On the day Forrest Galante published his thylacine video, 24 hours before that, Archisuchus had posted pictures of his thylacine.
All right, here's Archisuchus' thylacine model. We're gonna look at that. Oh, hold on. Let me drop this down to show you what they're showing. So this is their timeline, May 14th. There's Archisuchus' model.
Doll on Twitter. The same model and the same photos I've used to debunk the ones sent to Forrest Galante. And this might be more than just a coincidence. What if Archisuchus is this turtle guy? As in Forrest's video, he says that they've been in contact long before the publishing of it.
It says April 22nd, which is the day after you guys contacted me.
They first made contact on April 21st. And what did Archisuchus post on April 21st? Responding to an image asking what would be better than sex, and they say, a living Tasmanian tiger in 2024. So that would mean that Archisuchus sent his pictures to try and fool Forrest Galante. Of course, this is all speculation.
Yeah, you're really coming out of left field with that.
And it's also a coincidence that on the exact same day the video goes live, you would notice it and start talking about the video. But why would Archisuchus want to trick Forrest Galante into believing that there was an actual Tasmanian tiger out there? We don't have to look far to find the answer. In the post Archisuchus talks about the images sent to Forrest Galante, he says, and I quote, "This isn't my art, the timing is a coincidence, and it's not me in the vid. Methinks you protest too much." I don't believe in Forrest after that jawbone incident either. Real or not, I'm pretty aggravated with the stories he uploads. So, we have a motive. This guy doesn't like Forrest.
So, someone, I mean, we'll delve into this for sure. Let me show you more I have of Archisuchus's slides here. So we have these are the ones that came out in May, right? So these are much later. Every time I do that, it sets this thing off. And he did a couple of poses and things with his model. But this is a model, right? This is not a actual thylacine. It's something he built. Here's the sculpture when he was working on it. Jaw open, jaw closed. And there's Archisuchus, obviously not the person from the video, right?
And he doesn't like the stuff he makes on YouTube. So what better way to get back at the guy than to trick him into thinking someone found a real Tasmanian tiger? Archisuchus already has the doll and the Photoshop skills needed in order to make it look convincing. And possibly one final piece of evidence to this hypothetical puzzle was when he said this in the interview.
So I snapped a few pictures because I'm like, I don't know what this is. I'm going to send them to Henry because he knows mammals and stuff.
I'm
the turtle guy.
And after combing through Archisuchus' Twitter feed, would you believe I found this? lots and lots of turtles. Honestly, you can't even make this up. There's a video where he practically shows you all of the turtles and terrariums he has in his room. Now, unfortunately, you can't.
I like how it shows a toad, and he's like, he's showing you all his turtles, and it's like, yeah, that's not a turtle. Oh, shoot. Let me, yeah, I'm trying a new format on this, so let me see if I can't pull that back up. I don't know what happened. It disappeared. Why? Oh, there we go. Ay, ay, ay. I guess I'll rewind this.
Would you believe I found this? Lots and lots of turtles. Honestly, you can't even make this up. There's a video where he practically shows you all of the turtles and terrariums he has in his room. Now, unfortunately, you can't really hear his voice very well. As far as I'm aware, this is the only video that exists where he actually speaks in it. And if he knows how to use Photoshop and all those other tricks, I wouldn't put it past him being able to pitch shift his voice down and stuff like that when it came to the interview. But let it be said, this is one hell of a big coincidence. So let's put it all out there. We have the images sent to Forrest dated on the 22nd of April. Then the images were published in Forrest's video on the 15th of May. Arcasuchus then posts his images of the fake ones that were used to forge the ones sent to Forrest. And those ones were only published on the 17th of May, which means that these photos must have been taken much earlier, predating the 22nd of April if they were used in the making of the faked photos. There really isn't anyone else who had access to these photos, unless Arcasuchus sent them to somebody else and then they faked it. And seeing as he's the one who's made the puppet and took the photos, they are going to be the only ones who know the truth, or at least know the person who's done this. And if his goal was really to make Forrest look like a bad source of news to go to, especially for Tasmanian tigers, well, he did it. The guy made a video.
All right.
And almost got 1 million views on his own hoax. But hey, that's just a theory. A beaver theory. Thanks for watching.
All right, so yeah, that's the gaming beaver. Now this is Archisuchus here.
Arch, and you may know me from my Twitter platform.
Hold on.
Okay, hello. I'm Arch, and you may know me from my Twitter platform. But oh yeah, about that. Most notably, this guy. What? Yeah, this guy.
Yeah.
This is my troodontid mask, which has completely exploded, and it's, I don't know, success, I guess. And it spawned a whole new.
See the mesh under the eyes? That's so cool.
Me.
Anyway, I get enamored of paleo art. So you're obviously not the guy from the video, right? Obviously. So yeah, this is just that to go that they were talking about earlier. I've covered them a few times, but we'll revisit them sometime soon, I'm sure. Okay. Now we're gonna see what Trey has to say.
I'm sorry, Forrest Gallant, that I look like this. I just came from a concert and I'm pulled over at a gas station right now. But yeah, I apologize if that came across as a threat, Forrest Gallant. I think that's pretty common in journalism to give a deadline, for the story, because so far I've been given a lot of undefined timeline of events, and yeah.
Are you so pretty, Trey? God dang.
That I'm probably going to publish my findings on this story, because I've been interviewing, I've been reading up on all the information, and yeah, I'm very doubtful of it, and I just wanted to publish my investigation for the public to see. And it's your choice if you or the institution want to get back with me to get your side of the story. But yeah, that post was just a heads up that I'm probably going to publish a story, and by this date, you can have your side or not. I can bump it up. I said 5 more days because I gave you 5 on Tuesday. I can say 5 more days. I can say 7. I can say 10. I don't know. I don't want these undefined deadlines, I can't just keep waiting, because this story has been kept vague for 3 years, Nothing has been shown of it. No evidence has been shown for 3 years. So I'm just a little frustrated, and I'm sorry if that came across as threatening to you. You blocked me, obviously, so I don't think you can see this, but yeah, I just wanted to say my piece. So goodbye. Thank you for everything. I hope I still hear back from you. But yeah. Bye.
To be frank, I kind of liked that when I was 18 too. So there was a follow-up. That was a follow-up to... Shoot, I guess I have to go back. To this.
This is Trey, the explainer. This is what I look like. So, as you know, it's Friday. This is the date that I asked publicly for you to at least maybe DM me this photo, this thylacine jaw photo, or maybe post it publicly, either one. The days passed and I still haven't received anything. I know that you told me that the photo is not yours. It belongs to this institution. So far, you haven't given me a name to this institution. I'd like to know if it's academic or conservation. Like, is it a university? That kind of stuff. Just a name. I don't know, something. I think you said you'd put me in contact with them privately. So far, I haven't received anything. So I just haven't received anything. So at the moment, I know you've probably been busy. You probably have a YouTube channel you got to work for and make videos. So I don't know. I was just hoping you could give me some corroborating evidence, just some additional information on this photo.
I like Trey too.
And this expedition, this project. Because I don't know, but so far I've seen nothing, and I'm starting to kind of disbelieve that this photo even exists. But I'd be happy to change my mind. I just would like some evidence and information. I would like to talk to these institutions, talk to these people, talk to possibly Rose. I think I found her. I think I've learned her last name. I'm not going to say it right here. You can confirm it with me privately if you want.
Yeah, this is a separate drama, of course. However, it is related to Archie situation as well, tangentially, mostly through Twitter, because Trey then came at those photos. So this is the only video that Archie has, though. So Nikki said something about Henry. Are you talking about Henry the Paleo guy? Am I? So I know Henry the Paleo guy. They got a pretty big channel. So if that's what you're talking about, but I don't see that they've put anything out recently. Let me filter it down to this week. No results. Okay. Let me filter it down to this month. No results. Okay. So I don't think that it'd be Henry the Paleo guy. Maybe somebody else named Henry. I don't know. That's as far into my investigation that I've gotten into it. But Archisuchus did say this. Hey, at the Gaming Beaver, I respect the hell out of you and value what you do, but I feel like I've made the extent of my knowledge clear. Again, I genuinely I didn't do this. Please just ask me. And I shared my thing here too, but there were a lot of inquiries and a lot of questionable. So the whole thing's kind of fishy. I don't know who Henry is though. So Nikki, tell me who Henry is when you get a chance. Actually, I'm gonna look and see if he messaged me already, because I see I got message alerts, and I'll decide if I want to say something or not. Nikki, there you are. Ooh. Okay. Henry. Arcasuchus' dog. Well, April 20th. Dang, Nikki. Nikki's on top of her game. I think I might share these. Hold on. Let me see if I find a safe way to pull them up without doxing anybody. Because this is like a story unfolding live. Okay. Okay, so Chicago connection. A Monday phone call would be great. This is Henry. Enthusiasm. Wait, that's not interesting. This is so cool. Okay. And then goodness gracious. Okay. So, Henry has this dog. So we're thinking, okay. Interesting. Now my question now is going to be, would it be to Archie's benefit at all to do this to Forrest Galante when he knew he was going to publish his Paleo art? And he's not like exactly ambiguous character, and that Paleo art was going to show up on people's radars, including the pictures that he took. It's interesting, yeah, that these dog pictures right here, this dog picture kind of has the same feels as the Arcasuchus pictures at night. It has the same feels. I mean, So Archie, if you want to discuss this, if you want to talk to the community about it, I'd be happy to host you and have you on. I don't want to like dox you or anything, so for sure, not trying to spread disinformation about you, but I'd like to allow you to set the record straight. I got Nikki here from Sasquatch Secrets in the side chat. We are part of a cryptozoology sleuthing community, so we're really good at parsing this stuff out. So if you want to discuss reach out to me or Nikki. I don't care which one of us you reach out to, but I assume that Nikki would let you come on as well to discuss this matter. So if you're watching this, just to let you know, I'm not trying to call you out or start any trouble here. This could very well be someone taking your art and doing some forgeries with it. I don't know. but I welcome you to come forward with anything you know. Come lend us an ear, and we'll see what we can parse out. I've spent way longer on this than I've ever spent on any Cryptic Corner before. So, if you liked this and you want to see more long episodes of Cryptic Corner like this, as opposed to sort of a more balanced show, I'm more than happy to make half the show Cryptic Corner. I love Cryptic Corner. Let me know in the comments. Say, hey, more Cryptic Corner like this, more deep dive, more investigation work. Let me know if that's what you want to see, because I'm here for it. That's what I want to bring to the table, honestly. So I don't know if there's an audience for it. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up Cryptic Corner here. Please remember to be kind. Take care. And we'll see you next time. All right, don't go anywhere because I got more stuff coming up. We've got Eek. Yeah, we got this Coyote Peterson stuff coming up that I got to talk about. Not thrilled to be covering, but it's been on the back burner for too long. It's kind of losing its heat. So I will see you guys over in Cryptic Corner in or not Cryptic Corner. We're in Cryptic Corner. We're closing Cryptic Corner. I will see you guys over in Sci-Fails in just a moment.
Did the evolutionists just kill a pterodactyl? Or did they finally catch up to the creationists?
Obviously, there's not going to be a ton of talk about these things. And the thing is, I do believe there was talk about these things. I believe if we study history, the Confederates were able to shoot pterodactyls, back in the Civil War. And they spread these things out. Anybody can look it up online. They spread these things out. And this is a historical fact. So, they spread this thing out, and it's got a huge wing length. And it's a pterodactyl they shot. So, of course, these things have been around. Now, they went extinct, obviously, slowly, but surely. And so, I don't believe that just because, at some point in time, coming from your perspective, that, just because they stopped talking about it means that they never saw it, when we have all this evidence that they've seen it.
Hello, my name is John Pendleton, and I'm speaking to you from Zacatecas, Mexico, center of Mexico. And today I'm going to tell you of my project to attract and capture a real living pterodactyl dinosaur.
But to the Christian, it makes common sense. Of course, there could be a few still alive. That's the first sighting I've heard of in Fort Worth, Texas. I've heard of them in Arizona. A friend of mine knows where some of them live, and he's going to go catch them and put them in a dinosaur adventure land he's going to build. And I can't reveal the details yet.
They're a form of what people call pterodactyl, but if you consider them descended from some type of ramphorhynch or pterosaur.
Hello, my beauties and bees. Welcome to an episode of Sci-Fails, where I just find some failures in science on the internet and kind of break it down for you. Today is a little bit different of a format, though, because the person, the video I'm actually going to be covering or showing you guys right now is we're mostly looking at, hey, Tom, thank you. Yeah, I enjoy a deep dive myself. is a channel I love, and I would never come at bugs in biology, because this is a great channel. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and just open up their name page. They have lots of great content to consume about both living and extinct arthropods, and yeah, they do kind of dabble into areas outside of arthropods as well, but they also kind of open my eyes to some of the stuff that that Coyote Peterson's doing out there. I want to make sure everybody's aware of it, because oh.
So, if it seems a little bit rushed and hastily scrapped together, well, that's because it is. If you're new to this channel, you may not be aware, but I used to do reaction content, wherein I'd go over clickbait videos about spiders, centipedes, and the like, and address the various bogus claims presented. But subjecting myself...
So when I first started doing my channel, this was kind of what I wanted to do, but it was I would rather let professionals do it, like this channel, and me continue to debunk the nonsense stuff.
Such extensive amounts of logs proved to be tiresome, and I eventually burned out. One particular creator that I've discussed a number of times is Coyote Peterson.
And this hits near and dear to my heart, because, you know, like with my kids when they were little, we were like Coyote Pack people. We were we put it on the big screen and watch Coyote Peterson. We spent the whole Sunday watching Coyote Peterson go out in the wild and engage us and teach us about all the creatures of the North American wilderness at that time. Was basically the extent of what he was doing. He did a lot of stuff on alligator snapping turtles, which was cool.
Face of the Brave Wilderness channel. And after summing up all of my opinions of him in a snarky 30-minute rant that garnered no shortage of eloquently written and erudite comments from the Coyote Pack, I figured I'd said everything I needed to say about him, so that was the end of that. But today I have been roused from my slumber by Peterson's newest video, and you guessed it, it's a centipede bite. So now I think it is time to go back to my channel's roots and film a good old-fashioned reaction video. Well, a discussion video, but you know what I mean. The first thing I'd like to address is the...
Yeah, so we're going to talk about the different species here and stuff, but Coyote Peterson, in my opinion, is always kind of overreacted to the bites and stings and stuff that's inflicted on him. I think it's for dramatic purposes. They're trying to get subscribers.
Title and thumbnail. It's not a huge deal, but there's a bit of inconsistency here. The title says "bitten by a giant Asian centipede," which is indeed what happens in the video. Peterson takes an envenomation from Scolopendra dehani, which is an Asian species.
And I used to have one of those. Scolopendra dehani used to be Cespinice, but they've, what's the word I'm looking for? They've resolved the relationship. So it's dehani now.
But in the thumbnail, the centipede shown is an undescribed Scolopendra species that hobbyists nickname White Legs, presumably because of its white legs, which hails from Peru in South America.
And I'll never be able to go to Peru because they think I'm mentally ill.
It's Scolopendra dehani that Peterson gets pinched by in the video. The white-legged centipede is still a major feature, and that brings me on to the next topic, which is misidentification. Coyote Peterson and misidentification go together like My Wild Backyard and Nike, or
Yeah, that's true too. A lot of what you see on camera when Coyote Peterson does this show isn't actually the species that they're talking about. But I know the Brazilian wandering spider was one that he said was danger. He had a Brazilian wandering spider that wasn't. Anyway,
prehistoric planet and baby murder, and this video was no exception. Here, white leg is mislabeled as Scolopendra gigantea, a similarly large species that is also native to South America, though I do not believe it overlaps in range with white leg. But in Peterson's defense, the white-legged centipede is very frequently labeled as Scolopendra gigantea. And
that is true. They're both huge, though. There's like, other than the color difference, they're both huge. The gigantea is almost it's like dark reds and black for the most part. That's the one that you see, like the video, the Scolopendra hanging from the cave ceiling. That's gigantea.
A fairly niche group of centipede nerds are aware that they seem to constitute two separate species. So it's a pretty excusable...
I'm one of those centipede nerds!
...mistake. Certainly nowhere near as egregious as getting a harmless Creationist coccineus mixed up with a potentially deadly Phonutria. I will also say props to Peterson for acknowledging in a teaser for this video uploaded a couple months prior that his usage of a venom extractor following an envenomation from Scolopendra heros was a mistake, with venom extractors being at best useless and at worst capable
okay, yeah, so he did own up to that.
Of exacerbating the effects of bites. Kinda think it should have taken him less than 6 years to correct himself on that error, but better late than never, I suppose. Now we come to the main topic of this video. Unlike many of my previous reaction videos, the biggest issue here is not anything that Peterson said or did, but the state of the centipede that is being featured. While the Scolopendra dehani seems nice and healthy, the white-legged centipede was, well, basically a zombie.
It's moldy.
First of all, it shows clear signs of extensive mycosis.
And as you can see, in between each one of the joints, see that black area? And then underneath its chin here, especially, calling it a chin's kind of weird, but yeah, underneath, I guess that's its chest. These right here are actually legs. They're modified legs called forceptuals that have huge venom glands. So you see all the mold growing on the centipede, and look at these antennae just...
With the tips of many of its legs, as well as basically all of its leg joints, showing black discoloration.
Eek.
Mycosis is a disease that often affects centipedes when they are kept in conditions that are too moist and poorly ventilated. And whiteleg is a centipede that hails from a fairly dry habitat, making it all the more susceptible. In this particular individual, the mycosis is especially severe around the animal's head. Indeed, its antennae have rotted to the point that their tips are missing. Mycosis is survivable. If the condition...
Yeah, its antennae don't move either, which is really concerning.
Since the centipede is kept in are rectified, its spread can be halted. And while it does not seem to naturally recede, at least from my experience, if the centipede makes it to its next molt, the infection will be shed with the old exoskeleton. But that's not the sole issue with this incredibly unfortunate centipede. It also shows signs of severe dehydration and malnourishment, with its body being...
See how the back plates are concaved? And there's no, like, the softer tissue underneath is not swelled. It's not, this centipede's not in good shape.
Very flat and narrow, especially for a South American giant, which, when healthy, tend to be thick-bodied, robust centipedes. In fact, I'd go so far as to say this centipede is too far gone. Its movements are incredibly sluggish to the point that it looks to be practically dragging itself around. Its legs are already beginning to curl up, especially near the front. And the animal's head seems to have lost almost all mobility, with the antennae being completely limp and immobile. It's very possible that the centipede may already be brain dead, and that its body is pretty much operating.
Which we've seen beetles and stuff do this before, where they walk where there's hardly anything left of them. Let me see if I can find a clip of that. Yeah, here we go. So arthropods have an interesting Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Arthropods have an interesting nervous system. So they can survive with most of their body just decayed away. They can. That's insane, right? So, arthropods are tough. That's the main takeaway.
Penny being completely limp and immobile. It's very possible that the centipede may already be brain dead, and that its body is pretty much operating on autopilot. By comparison, here are some healthy individuals of white leg. There's no black discoloration on the legs. The animal's body is thick and chunky. The head is a lot more mobile.
Nice and chunky. Look at this antenna. Look how whipping around.
And the antennae are long and almost constantly waving around. They are still, in general, relatively docile centipedes, but nevertheless visibly much more active than the individual featured in Peterson's video, which had an extremely sluggish demeanour. What's more is that the same animal was featured in the teaser that was uploaded just a couple months earlier.
It looks
and
healthy.
There, the centipede appeared to be in much better condition, with a full, rounded body and far less mycosis on the legs. Which means that the centipede's health must have deteriorated to its current state in the space of only 2 months, making me wonder what kind of conditions it was being kept in. I'm not going to blame Peterson himself for this. I very much doubt he's responsible for the centipede's husbandry, but I'm rather surprised no one involved in the production noticed what was happening.
It looks very. I noticed what was happening, and I was outraged because I thought, and I'm not an expert, but I have done. I have my. I know how to raise and take care of critters, right? So. I did think that this centipede had been put in what I thought was that it had been put in a refrigerator, right? I thought it had been chilled. I thought like that's really cruel to do to it, just for so someone could handle it, because you chill a arthropod, it slows them way down. You gotta be careful doing that. You shouldn't do that at all to a centipede. The only thing I've ever done it to was flies and crickets and stuff for feeders, just to help baby mantises catch their food a little better when they're trying to get off the ground, because baby mantises have a high mortality rate. So the better chances they have of catching food, the better off everybody is.
On Peterson's Instagram page, a couple commenters drew attention to the centipede's poor condition, and Peterson responded to one of them, stating that the centipede was getting ready to molt and assuring the commenter that the animal was just fine. Now, I have seen enough centipedes go through the molting process to know that a pre-molt centipede does not look like it's literally fucking rotting to death. Pre-molt centipedes will appear excessively fat, the opposite of how the individual in Peterson's video looks, and the only apparent discoloration will be a faint pale yellowish tinge across the entire animal. And why?
As the exoskeleton removes itself from the new exoskeleton that's grown underneath, it'll take on that yellow tint because it's separated and creating like a foggy yellow color.
While pre-molt centipedes do tend to be somewhat stiff and sluggish with their movements, their legs and antennae will still retain their function and mobility. So yeah, I'm willing to bet that this centipede is most definitely not pre-molt. And if Peterson is seriously trying to convince his viewers that the centipede is just fine, then I think he needs to either inform himself a little more about the topics he presents, or wake up to the fact that not everyone is as gullible as the Coyote Pack. That's just about all I have to say here. Like I mentioned at the beginning, I've already presented all my opinions about Peterson in a video specifically devoted to the topic.
And we're not going to watch that whole video.
There's no real need for me to be repeating myself here.
But I am going to watch the Natalia Reagan part of that, because I think it's important to cover that. I covered this when it came out too, when he came out with this. But Coyote Peterson's been kind of doing some questionable stuff here lately.
This dude is Coyote Peterson. He is a self-proclaimed animal expert.
Message. Now, as I said before, arthropods are my forte, and I'm not especially well informed on primates, even though I am one. So for this, I'm just going to play a clip by primatologist and anthropologist Natalia Regan, who said everything I wanted to say, plus more.
This dude is Coyote Peterson. He is a self-proclaimed animal expert. He is now claiming that he has found a new primate in the Pacific Northwest, and the government's keeping it a secret. He's alluding that it's Bigfoot. This after saying the skull looked like a bear. This is what a bear skull looks like. That is not a bear. As a primatologist, somebody who studies monkeys and apes, I can take one look at that skull and tell you that is a western lowland male gorilla. So what does all this mean? One, Coyote Peterson randomly stumbled upon a gorilla skull in the Pacific Northwest and didn't even try to compare it to other non-human primates. That would make him not a very good animal expert. Or two, Mr. Peterson was feeling plucky and placed that skull and discovered it for clout, thus fooling the masses. That would make him a pretty lousy educator. Not cool, dude. And he could be doing a grave disservice to primate conservation. Why? Where did he get the gorilla skull? It better be a replica like Kevin, because the trade of great ape body parts like skulls and hands has wreaked havoc on conservation efforts in Central and West Africa. So this hoax is not only ridiculous, it's potentially dangerous.
In his social media...
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, he did this whole Bigfoot thing. Nothing ever really came of it, but yeah, that was his grift. So anyway, that's Coyote Peterson. That's why I'm no longer a fan of the Coyote pack, if you will. I'm no longer consume that content just based on I have some principles about animal care and husbandry that I have to stand by. So I mean, that's that. Yeah, as far as sci-fi goes, I'm just going to cut it off right here because I don't have too much more to say about it. I think Bugs and Biology and Natalia covered it pretty well for me and throwing my content in, whatever. But yeah. So for my sci-fi fans, please remember to be kind, take care, and we will see you next time. All right, that was a fun segment. I know I didn't really do too much talking about or debunking the bad science, but the bad science has already been debunked for me. I just need to make sure that my audience is aware of what's happening with these different YouTube content creators and which ones are more questionable. You want a good content creator that talks about animals like Coyote Peterson does, but is actually legit and pretty freaking awesome? Check out Clint's Reptiles. Clint's Reptiles is the bee's knees, right? So no Coyote Peterson, more Clint's Reptiles. That's my opinion. All right, I'm gonna have an intermission here, and during that intermission, I'm going to the bathroom, but I do have more show to come, so don't go anywhere. We have Breeze Bestiary up next, and you're going to like the little creature I'm covering today. I'm sure you're all familiar with it. Once you see it, you'll know what it is. But let's take a break, and I'll see you guys over there in just a minute. Hello, hello, my beauties and bees, and welcome to another installment of Bree's Bestiary, where I pick any animal I want from the animal kingdom and I talk about it because that's what I want to do. Today's show is going to be over animal I've actually kept and raised. It wasn't actually mine; it was for my daughter, but we had it for about 2 years. Unfortunately, it overheated in the upstairs of the old house and it died. But I still love them and want to talk about them more and more. If you don't know what I'm talking about the axolotl. So here's just a quick little video about the history of axolotls. There's no audio here, so I'm gonna mute it. The Mexicans founded the city of Tenochtitlan after sighting of the eagle. The city was located on an island in the middle of Lake Texcoco. Yeah, but axolotls are native to Lake Xochimilco. The lake is the basin of Mexico, would often become one during times of heavy rain. The axolotl became part of the Mexica's mythology and were named after the Aztec god Xotl. Axolotls became a traditional dish. Ever ate an axolotl before? They don't get that big, but yeah. The Spanish forces led by Hernando Cortez captured Tenochtitlan in 1521. The Spanish began draining the lake. So I think there's this, I don't know, a little bit revisionist. The natives, they did this type of farming that just consumed the lake is really what happened. Okay. First, to start, we have to go all the way back to the last glacial maximum, right? Last time that it's the Rocky Mountain Glacier came down to Mexico, right? That's been a long time ago, thousands of years ago, right? So that's where all this water came from that filled this basin. It was meltwater, glacial meltwater. And as the planet heated up over the last 6,000 years or 10,000 years or so, probably more like 6,000 years for this particular region, as it heated up, the area began to dry out. So there was a lot of pressure to move closer to these water sources. Now, the section of the lake that still exists is fed by natural springs too, that come down from the mountains as well. So there is a section of the lake that will, be retained, hopefully inevitably. But this whole huge lake area, though, was drained and or dried out until only this southern portion down here remained. This is where the Lake Texamil, how do you say that? I'm gonna pull the pronunciation up here so I don't say it again. Lake Xochimilco, yeah, which is down here in this lower region, right? So everything dried out with that, and that's the only place where axolotls live now. They used to live through this whole region, through this whole lake, but it all dried up. And then they innovated this farming technique where they'd basically build patches of earth out on the lake, right out off the shoreline. They'd build a little farm, and that way it was still already irrigated because it was surrounded. It was in the lake literally, and those patchwork farms, they still exist there too. By the way, we can go look at them real quick if you want. Do I still have the maps up? No. Hold on. I will get that map up and we'll go look. I'll show you. We'll actually get out on the street view if you want. We can do that because it's all canals and stuff now. There's no real lake. It's all just a bunch of canals with little mud farms in between. Yep, here we go. Here's what we'll do. We're going to go. We're going to dive right down in to... So this is what's left of the lake. Is all these little canals, right? All of this area used to be lake, but if you go down in here, you don't go down in the streets, right? This is a street view, but you're not in streets. You're in a boat running on canals, because this is little patches of farms on wetlands, right? And you can zoom up and down here and see all these little farm areas, right? They build these little square or rectangular farms are built of earth out into the lake by, not in recent years, but like over the last few thousand years, they've been building these up, and we end up with, instead of a lake, a big strip with just a bunch of canals running through it. Right? There's some areas that are bigger than others. Yeah, this strip right here is a little bit bigger, and there's a good sized lake area out here too, but for the most part, it's all filled in. But this all used to be part of a big lake basin. The whole thing. Hey, thank you, Sinister Porpoise. Yes, recovery drives. I hear you, babe. Thank you so much. You're a good friend. Always appreciate you, Porpoise. I was just saying to try. There's kind of a balance here, trying to blame the Spanish for draining the lake, and I think it's more of a colonizer mindset to say that, because the indigenous people were innovative enough to build. They were building these farms way before the Spanish arrived. The conquered people and the Spaniards that settled there continued the agricultural practice because it worked and it was really effective for New World crops. So they continued it, but they didn't start it. Yeah, by the 1960s, the lakes were pretty much completely drained. There you go. There's a map of it now. And that's Mexico City, by the way. Mexico City, the biggest city in the New World for most of modern history. Yeah, today, as our canals are all that remain of the lake, we explored some of those canals just a moment ago. Let's see what we have. In the 1980s, they released tilapia and carp into the canals. Now they'll eat the axolotl eggs. They'll eat the axolotls. Tilapia and carp compete for food with the axolotls and ate their young, and they compete for the same resources. And they're more athletic than axolotl. The Xochimilco canals were polluted with wastewater and runoff, because of course they were. Axolotl populations quickly decreased. Axolotls are now critically endangered. Yeah, but then, you can subscribe to this channel. Sure, they did a nice job putting this together. It's Jules Axolotl. 6,098 subscribers. You're doing good work. I liked this video. Although it is from a few years back. Not a lot has changed, so that's fine. But we're not going to stop there. We got a lot of stuff about axolotls to talk about. Check this out.
This is an axolotl. And this is the rarest one in the world. In Dallas, Texas, there is a man who has rooms filled with hundreds of axolotls. From these tiny babies to tons of different colors. Who is this guy? And why does he have so many axolotls?
Hi, Aquarium Info. Welcome to Axolotl Planet.
This man's axolotls have thousands of babies. How does he raise...
And so, the species is being saved by the pet trade is the main takeaway here. Which is good, because they're probably not going to last much longer in the wild.
From these tiny eggs. What are they doing in this spoon? And which axolotl is the most expensive? This is Jake, a 22-year-old aquarium enthusiast who raises axolotls.
This tank is full of 200 copper axolotl eggs. They'll stay in this form for about 3 weeks until they hatch.
These axolotls spawn in large aquariums. After they hatch, they make their way into the next tank until they are ready to be sold. How do they grow up so quickly, and what is he feeding them?
We have to have over 1,000 worms shipped to us every single week just to feed all of our axolotls.
Axolotls are carnivores. This means that they eat a meat-based diet. Earthworms are their favorite.
So, just to be clear, he said copper axolotls. I believe those are axolotls with erytherism, which is excessive red pigment, but I might be mistaken on that.
They're jam-packed with nutrients. Smaller axolotls require much smaller food. They love blackworms. Did you know that baby axolotls will only eat live food? They can be a bit picky.
They can be adorable too.
Selectively breeds to create unique color variations.
And this is like ball pythons and stuff. There's all sorts of colors. We're gonna look at those colors here in a second too. So don't you worry if you are interested in seeing beautiful axolotls in all their glory. I can't have an axolotl in my apartment, but as soon as I relocate, if I do relocate, I'll probably get one because I love them. But that's not the first pet I would get. I miss having a fuzzy pet that I can snuggle. So I'd probably get like a cat first if I could have pets. I miss having a cat.
30 different types of axolotl morphs that exist, and in this bucket we have 3 of them.
These are leucistic, melanoid, and hypomelanistic axolotls. But these aren't even the craziest ones that they have.
This axolotl in particular is $750. It's the rarest one we have right now, and we're one of the only people in the world who actually have this.
It's called a high-xanthophore super-hypo-melanistic axolotl. It lacks all dark pigmentation and has yellow gold spots on its skin. Let's give him a snack of some of these live blackworms. Axolotl Planet has a beautiful gallery filled with display tanks.
Yeah, the axolotl we had was leucistic.
One of which is home to this surrender axolotl.
This is an extremely rare instance of an axolotl evolving into a land animal.
So this happens on occasion to axolotls, especially if they're kept in an area that's too crowded. Hey, thank you, Native Atheist. Happy birthday. I celebrate tonight when I wake up. I hope I don't get arrested. Okay. Well, $10. Thank you so much. Wow, you guys are being generous today. I really appreciate everybody. So yeah, this is this axolotl is has went on to develop. Usually they stay in their neonatic state for their entire lives, but they can morph into an adult form and that is actually capable of going on land, and we're going to explore that later on too.
This one has developed lungs to breathe air. We were lucky enough to witness this in person, and I can honestly say it was one of the weirdest creatures I've ever seen. But Jake didn't become the largest supplier of axolotls in the world overnight. In fact, Jake started out by selling discus.
I came across this video from the King of DIY about how he made 20 grand in 1 month selling discus, and that's when I knew that I could make a living selling fish.
Jake knew that he needed perseverance if he wanted to be successful. It wasn't long before he found himself at the forefront of Axolotl Planet.
And here,
yeah. So, axolotls do pretty well in the pet trade. Look at all these different colors and stuff that they come in, though.
Axolotl breeds and morphs. Wild-type axolotl. A wild-type axolotl is a combination of greens, browns, blacks, and just about any other color with speckles of shiny gold iridophoid pigments. This axolotl usually has dark eyes with a shiny gold ring around the pupil and purple/gray gills.
Yeah, so the wild type is essentially like, you know, what you expect from a fish-colored animal. Yeah.
Leucistic axolotl. This axolotl has a white or pink body color, dark navy or black eyes, bright red gills, may or may not develop freckles depending on the environment and genetics. White albino axolotl. The albino axolotl has a white or pink body, has clear or red eyes, and bright red...
This is, actually, I think we might have had, the one we had might have been, no, it was leucistic. It was one of these. The one we had was like this.
Pink body, has clear or red eyes, and bright red gills. This axolotl will not develop any type of freckles or other pigmentation on the body. The white albino comes in two forms, known only as white and xanthic. For simplicity, we will just call them white albinos. Golden albino axolotl. This axolotl has a golden yellow body with shiny patches.
That's so
clear
pretty.
eyes,
Look at
or
that.
peachy colored
It's like
gills.
a gold.
The golden albino lacks melanophores, which is what gives it the gold appearance. Like albinos, golden albinos cannot have black eyes, as they are a form of albinism. Melanoid axolotl. Melanoid looks very similar to dark wild types. However, this axolotl has an increased
It's
amount
melanism,
of
yeah.
melanophores, or dark pigment, and lacks shiny pigments. This lack of shine means they don't have golden flecks or other colors throughout their bodies like a wild type. They are one solid black color. GFP axolotl. These
This
axolotls
one's-
are any
look at this
axolotl that
shit.
has a
Oh
gene
my
known as the
gosh,
GFP
that's
gene.
so cool.
This is a genetically modified protein in their DNA that was originally introduced
They did this to cats too. They did it to cats.
in a lab setting. The protein allows the axolotl to glow vibrant green under UV or blue lighting. Any axolotl morph can be a GFP.
Ooh, I like that black one in the background there. Hold on.
Copper is the axolotl
See the
to
black
glow
one there?
vibrant green under UV or blue lighting.
It's like,
Any
surprise!
axolotl morph can be a GFP. Copper axolotl. Copper is a variety of albino, as they have red tinted eyes and lay white eggs. They are often a light browny, pinky color with darker brown spots. Coppers don't have any black pigments, melanophores. Chimera axolotl.
So I think this is the coppers. I think it's the one that I thought maybe had erythism. So that's the excessive red pigment. But when I look it up, it says that the erythism axolotl is the wild type that's got high iridophore. So I don't know.
Coppers don't have any black pigments, melanophores. Chimera axolotl. Chimerism in axolotls is said to be when two eggs fuse together in development, and each side grows according to the egg it came from, often resulting in a split down the middle appearance.
It's called bilateral gynetomorphism. But yeah, chimera, usually think of more split, more patchy. This is bilateral. I guess the eggs got fused. Interesting. That's how that happens. Birds can do bilateral gynetomorphy. The interesting part about bilateral gynetomorph. Am I saying that right? Bilateral. Is it androgynetomorph? That's when half of it's when they're both halves are different sexes. So interesting thing. Chimeras can be both halves are different sexes too.
One side can often grow at a slightly slower rate than the other. Chimera cannot be duplicated in breeding. It is caused by an accident during development. Mosaic axolotl. Mosaicism is the result of two cells forming in development, and the axolotl comes out showing the phenotype of both cells. Like a chimera, but not an even split down the middle, the color variation is more mixed. Mosaic axolotls cannot be reproduced through breeding, as it is an accident that occurs during development. Many mosaics are infertile, as they are the joining of two cells.
Right, they don't have, they're infertile like a hybrid.
Axolotl. Piebald is when an axolotl pigmentation goes all down the body and sides, not just along with the head and top, like a leucistic. Many heavily spotted leucistic is mistaken for piebald. A piebald is normally significantly darker and thicker in black spots than a spotty leucistic. Silver Dalmatian axolotls.
Ooh.
This axolotl has more of a purple hue to them, with darker
This might be
spots
my
along
favorite.
the body like a Dalmatian dog. I believe this axolotl is only available within the United States. Enigma axolotl. This axolotl is bred by an American hobbyist, only available within the United States. There is not much known about this axolotl. Firefly axolotl.
These ones are neat,
axolotls
too.
are not genetically modified. They are produced by embryonic grafting. Darker axolotls are given a lighter tail and lighter axolotls are given a darker tail. Thanks for watching.
Because of their regenerative capabilities, they can swap out their tails and swap out colors while they're still in the egg, right? They can take the little forceps and snip off one's tail and move it over and put it on another one. Swap their tails back. Really, really weird stuff.
You will find more on my blog familipit.com and my Pinterest.
Okay, yeah. So that was just the video that showed the differences between them. So then I wanted to talk about Creepy Gallery because they have Mr. Derp, which I've actually watched a few of Mr. Derp's videos over the years. But Mr. Derp was a axolotl that this person bought that it was already morphed out to an adult. And here's the 3-year video. It's from about a year ago, but no new updates yet. But we'll watch Mr. Derp.
G'day everyone. In this video, I'll be giving a quick update on my axolotl salamander, Mr. Derp. If you're joining us for the first time, I'll give you a brief backstory. But if you'd like to know some more information on his history, or hear my thoughts on forcing axolotls to morph, I suggest going back and watching one of my earlier videos. So, just over 3 years ago, I bought this already morphed axolotl from a local-ish aquarium.
So I want to say that I think axolotls would be properly described as polymorphic. Polymorphism is probably most famous in the difference between a locust and a grasshopper, right? It's a grasshopper until it polymorphs into a locust to swarm. Grasshoppers just live on, chill, doing their grasshopper thing, eating grass. But when the population, something tips the population, right? And all of a sudden they start breeding like all crazy. They change colors. The new generations are darker, and there's like masking and banding and stuff that make them really stand out. They become a completely different animal. Salmon do the same thing when they get horny, but the axolotl, I think that maybe given the improper environment where the population was booming and too high for it to sustain the axolotls that are in the environment, they may trigger them to morph out into an adult form so they can travel on land to find a new body of water to inhabit with less other competition.
Shop. And when I got him, I really didn't know what I was getting myself into. Other than dealing with an animal that is often misidentified, and there not being a lot of reliable information about them at the time, he also came with some pre-existing health problems that needed to be dealt with, including a missing rear leg that you can see here has nearly completely grown back. After a lot of trial and error, he seems to be...
The thing about their regeneration is it'll regenerate, but it's never going to be as good as it would have been if it hadn't been damaged. So people that do like, oh, I'm just going to cut off an axolotl's arm or something to watch it regrow. Don't do stuff like that. Just don't. It's first of all, it's weird and it's gross, but also they're just Wolverine healed. It doesn't grow back the same. It doesn't have the same mobility. Generally doesn't have the same size. I guess over successive molts that it can get the same size. Because unlike baby axolotls or regular axolotls that morph into adult forms also do regular molting sessions of their skin, and they eat the skin.
Doing quite well, and we're pretty much hitting a rhythm, so there hasn't really been that much to update you on. He still spends most of the time in the water, only occasionally venturing out onto the dry land, and only ever really using his moss cave in the cooler months. His setup has changed a little bit over the past year, and I'm now running a more simplified version of the build I did a year or two ago. And even though it looks a bit boring at the moment, it has allowed me to keep on top of tank maintenance and eliminate a lot of the possible water contaminants from some of the materials that I had used. That being said, I still would like to build him another tank in the future, something with a bit more greenery.
Yeah.
I'm still not running any filtration in his tank. I found any vibration tends to really freak him out. and most pumps, even the small ones, tend to heat up his water too much. So I'm still doing...
That's my theory. It's just a pet theory, Robert. So I don't want to say that that's like there's like official research on that. It's just the theory that I have of how to trigger every time I hear about someone having one that molted out, they say there was always one that was in a tank with like its all its brothers and sisters, basically, like in a tank where they were letting the little ones grow up together, right? And one of them will just morph out to, I'm getting the hell out of here. So it's just anecdotal, so don't take it as gospel.
Regular water changes and spot cleaning any floaters and dead skin I see floating about. Did you know that morphed axolotls regularly shed their skin?
He's the one who taught me that.
I didn't know this, and it freaked the hell out of me the first time I saw it. As far as heating goes, it does get cold where I live in the mountains, so in the winter I keep him in a heated room with all of my other animals. And in the summer, when the temperatures can get to the mid-30s, I move his tank to one of the cooler rooms in the house, and I place a frozen water bottle on the mesh of his lid to help bring...
We used to do this with just the axolotls, with the frozen water bottle. That's why you said that one overheated, because they like it a little bit cool. They like the like I said, the area of the lake that remains that they live in is fed by springs, by natural springs. Then if you know anything about natural springs, they're generally pretty frigid. So yeah, that's the situation here, and why they like it so cold.
Bring the temperatures back down.
Mm-hmm.
And to keep up the humidity, I run a reptile fogger several times a day, all year round. I don't tend to handle him much anymore, being a bit more conscientious of his sensitive skin. Plus, he has quite a little bite on him these days, and a real bad aim, so I've been trying to keep my fingers to myself.
Look at him snapping at the hose. He's so cute! God, I can't stand how cute he is!
I'm still dusting his food once a week with a calcium supplement. And I've started culturing my own feeder insects, so I've always got some on hand.
Red runners!
Apart from that, it's just been a case of feed,
nom,
clean,
nom.
feed, repeat. Fingers crossed, I'll be able to give you another update in about a year.
I can't stand it!
If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them.
Alright, that's
Till
Mr.
then,
Derp.
I'll catch you in the next one.
Yay! Derpamander. Yeah. So, what do y'all think? Y'all like axolotls? Like, looking at little critters and learning a little bit about their history? I sure do, so happy to keep bringing this stuff to you, unless they start striking my channel again for showing you animal clips. I don't know what that's about, but I like to teach about animals, so I need to have clips of the animals I'm teaching about. Anyway, I have one more thing I wanted to talk about today, so don't go anywhere. I need to close the show, or close this segment first. Well, thank you for sticking around for Bree's Bestiary, and hope you learn a little bit about our amphibian friends. And until next time, take care and be kind. All right, so now, got one more segment to go. It's going to be, I got another intermission here, but then we're going to do a paleo peek, because I got something exciting to talk about in my home state. So I'll see you guys over there. All right, my beauties and bees, welcome to a little episode of Paleo Peak that I am so excited to bring to you tonight because it is happening in my home state. So let's have a look. Oh, there we go. 308 million year old fossil arachnid is an 8-legged evolutionary puzzle. Not quite a spider, not a scorpion either. Where does Douglas Arachne Acanthopoda fit in? It's right up by Lori Simmons, edited by Maddie Chapman. All right, and here's the fossil. Pretty cool. These are the type of fossils that are found at Maison Creek. They're like little inclusion things. Douglas Arachne Acanthopoda was a more experimental version of modern harvestmen with a distinctive armored legs. This leggy, spiny fellow is Douglas Arachne Acanthopoda, whom we'll call Doug for short. Only kidding. Okay. You might look at this fossil specimen and confidently declare that there is a spider. R and Ra might do a better. That there's a spider. I don't know. But wait. While D. Acanthopoda certainly shares many of the characteristics of modern arachnids, it has enough unique features to give paleontologists a headache when it comes to classifying it. And again, I did a whole series with Aaron on, or I shouldn't say I did it. He did it. I just helped him with the research and phylogeny. But go watch that series if you haven't watched it. It's really good. Spiders and their ancestors have been around on this planet for about the last 400 million years. If you were thrust back in time to the Carboniferous, the land of coal forests of North America or Europe, you'd probably see some critters you'd recognize as spiders, harvestmen, or scorpion. But among that pack, D. Acanthopoda would have stood out. Douglas Arachne Acanthopoda comes from the famous Maison Creek locality in Illinois. Woo! I've been there. I've been to that. I have fossils from there that I have that are my own fossils. Is about 300 million years old, said Paul Selden, lead author of a new study on this enigma fossil, in a statement. This compact arachnid has a body length of about 1.5 centimeters or 0.6 inches and is characterized by its remarkably robust and spiny legs, such that it is quite unlike any other arachnid known, living, or extinct. So unlike the fact that Selden, the co-author, and co-author Jason Dunlop were forced to conclude that it simply doesn't fit in with the other known orders of arachnids. The fossil's very spiny legs are reminiscent of some modern harvestmen, but its body plan is quite distinct from harvestmen or any other known arachnid group, Dunlop says. So the spiky legs, to me, they remind me of a lynx spider. Let me see if I can show you a lynx spider. Yep, I sure can. Heck yeah. Give me just a moment. We'll get our hairy leg little friend pulled up here. Do. Oh, why you gotta have this alimony? Trying to get one that shows the leg spikes really good, but there we go. That's a good one. Yeah, we're going to look at that one. There you go. See the leg spikes on this beauty right here? That's what I'm thinking looking at this, but this is a true spider though. It's a green lynx spider. I've raised a couple of them. They're super cute. They don't get very big though. Being over 300 million years old, it's understandable that the fossil is missing a few details, like a clear mouth parts that could help narrow down its appropriate classification. This period of our planet's history is thought to have been the first when most living groups of arachnids roamed around together in the Mason Creek location where D. acanthopoda was found in the 1980s is one of the most important portals to this time. Whatever its evolutionary affinities, these spiny arachnids appear to come from a time when arachnids were experimenting with a range of different body plans, Selden said. Some of these later became extinct, perhaps during the so-called Carboniferous rainforest collapse, a time shortly after the age of Mason Creek when the coal forest began to fragment and die off, or perhaps these strange arachnids clung on until the end of the Permian mass extinction. The fossil spent some years on display in the Prehistoric Life Museum as part of the David and Sandra Douglas collection, and although this particular critter is proving tricky to classify, it did still need a scientific name. The genus name, Douglas arachne, acknowledges the Douglas family who kindly donated the specimen to the Field Museum of Natural History in Chicago for scientific study once it became apparent that it represented an undescribed species. Then Acanthopoda referred to the unique characteristic spiny legs of the animal, said Dunlop. In some places on our planet, you almost feel that you can't escape from spiders, no matter how hard you try. Paging Australia for some reason. Australia doesn't have like the most spiders or anything. Go to the Amazon, you want lots of spiders. Go to the Congo Basin if you want lots of spiders. Go to Southeast Asia if you want lots of spiders. There's so many places with more spiders than Australia. New species and some we thought were lost are popping up all over the shop. Okay. But back in the day, Dunlop explains, spiders were a rather rare group. Their ancestors would have shared a strange world with many impressive beasties that have long since been lost to us, with fossils of our only chance of discovering their many leg diversity. So this was found back in the 80s, right? So I've been to Mason Creek. What I found was most of the stuff that we found, we had some like leaves and stuff like that. It wasn't anything really cool, but I wish I had the fossils here now so I could show you, but we'll have them eventually to show off. Anyway, I do want to go back to Mason Creek though. That would be just a dream date for me. Oh man, yeah. Somebody want to take me on a date to Mason Creek to dig for fossils? I'll love you forever and ever. Anyhow, that's about all the show I have in me for today. It went kind of long. Well, about 3 hours. We used to do 3 hours pretty regularly, but I've been trying to whittle it down a bit. But that big section at the beginning about the thylacine, there was a lot to unpack there. A lot to go over. So, anyway, please remember to be kind and take care. We'll see you next time.
With all the noise, pseudoscience, and political rhetoric clogging the airwaves about transgender people, it can be difficult to understand what's really happening and what's really true. Good news, everyone! Welcome to The Transpositions, your compass in the rugged landscape of transgender issues. Here, we strive to be the beacon of authenticity, providing a platform that amplifies the voices and experiences of the transgender community. From breaking news to in-depth features to breaking down the real science, we are committed to fostering understanding, empathy, and empowerment for all individuals across the gender spectrum. Join us as we navigate the complexities, celebrate the triumphs, and advocate for the rights of transgender people worldwide. Together, we can redefine boundaries, challenge stereotypes, and champion inclusivity. Subscribe today. The link is in the description.